Good morning, campers. Welcome to the program. I am Tom Connors. With me is the boss man, Andre. How are you doing?
Greetings, everyone. I am doing excellent. It's been a great weekend, even though I don't really watch the Super Bowl, not being in the US and everything. But I know that all of you guys did, so I look forward to hearing your experiences.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, I watched it while I was on Midnight's Edge.
I was working.
Yeah, I had a great time. I mean, it was fun. I mean, the Super Bowl is, I don't take it emotionally. I mean, you know, what's the point? It's just a sporting event. It's not like it's hockey or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it's not like you're an American either, that you really get invested in it.
That's right. I had friends from Detroit who loved the Lions, and they had a giant dish while they're living in London, Ontario, not far from Detroit, and that was mandatory. Anytime we went down there during football season, we were watching all the games. That was fun. It's fun when you're doing it with a whole bunch of people. And there's so much betting going on. I don't bet on football, but holy smokes, that is a big part of the experience, right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So no, that was it. It was a funniest game, a high score. It felt like a CFL game. Lots of running around by the quarterbacks and lots of throwing. It was fun.
That's right.
It was a lot of men playing with their balls. So
yeah,
very entertaining.
And then there was the ads, of course, where we told you Americans that Canada invented football with Dave Groh.
And of course, that other voice you hear is the one, the only Chris Gore. Good morning. How are you?
I'm in Super Bowl recovery. No football for a couple weeks now until all these sort of upstart leagues begin, like the XFL and the USFL, I don't know, arena football. Right. So, no, I watched the game, enjoyed it, probably enjoyed the commercials more. I had no dog in the fight. I am a Detroit Lions fan.
Speaking of which.
So there you go, Paul. So you know where the Lions have a saying. They have a motto. It's not over till we lose. We've never the Detroit Lions have never been to the Super Bowl. Never. Got close, but never
close,
been. Yeah. Yeah. So but the commercials were the best part. Can't wait to talk about them. And let's go. Let's do it.
Yeah. Chris, also, I have a question for you. Well, I'll ask afterwards. Let's finish that.
Also joining us this morning is Culture Casino. How are you doing?
Oh, fantastic. Yeah. At one point in time during the Super Bowl game itself, apparently FanDuel, one of the online betting sites, was handling 17,000 bets per minute.
Oh, and that was just from one guy from New Jersey.
I don't know, but they did pay out. They did pay out a record. One of the services paid out a record $2.63 million on the Chiefs' win. So there's a lot going on in the background there. So, but greetings, everybody. Hi, welcome to the unofficial holiday of Monday call-in sick after the Super Bowl day here in the United States. So welcome.
Yes, the Super Bowl flu, as it's known. Yeah. Script Doctor, how are you doing this morning? Coming from the Great White North.
Doing pretty good. Had a really good Valentine's Day weekend. Gonna surprise my girlfriend with an event tomorrow night that she doesn't know is happening. And otherwise all pretty peachy. Also got some interesting information from
I was about to say, so Script's girlfriend who is listening right now, pretend you didn't listen.
Hey, what did you hear about what now?
I from a friend of Dan Aykroyd managed to get me two versions of his Ghostbusters 3 script that has not been released publicly.
Nice. We've been waiting for this. Wait a minute. Hold up. Time out. That's big news.
Yeah. So
Dan wrote it?
Yep, Dan wrote it.
So it'll be 800 pages.
So one of them, yes. So this would be the Ghostbusters Go to Hell script, I'm assuming?
Yes, two versions. One in the late 90s, another one in 2006.
So it'd be the Chris Farley and then the other one. Okay.
No, Chris Farley had died by the 1999 one.
Okay. All right. That sucks because I know he had wanted Chris to be in a version of that. But anyhow, can't wait to check those out. Paul, good morning.
Yes, good morning to you.
Mr. Chato is already here. You did, but I'm formally introducing you now. So yes, good morning.
Nice to be formally introduced. Yes, it's good. It's been a good weekend. I've passed the 97,000 subscriber mark.
Woo!
Which is kind of fun. Only 3,000 left until I join the choir of the invisible.
Yeah, the centennials.
And then the next plaque is at 1 million, which I find very unfair.
Yeah.
They should at least give something at what?
Yeah.
500,000.
But until then, we look forward to celebrating your 100K live here in a few weeks.
Yes, that would be great. That would be absolutely wonderful. So I'm gonna just keep cranking out stuff that comes into my brain. That's good.
Yeah.
It's been fun.
I did enjoy your video on the reverse Maslow pyramid the other day.
I'm sure there's not a lot of people out there who know anything about Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
Yeah.
Most of the schools that teach it don't even know it properly.
Probably. That's the kind of intellectual comedy I bring to YouTube.
I'm so glad I got my master's degree when I did, before the universities went completely woke, because of that, I know of Maslow, I know of Milgram, and a bunch of other experiments from the 60s when you actually learned stuff.
They wouldn't teach Maslow now?
No, they do, but
they do actually.
Commentary on it, and this was before woke really took over the universities. Is that he said not a single real university has gotten Maslow's law correct since like the mid 90s.
Wow,
wow. That's
kind of fascinating, because I've been looking into seeing like if I can find any of the original literature of it, and it's been a little tricky because all the searches just point to all the stuff that was currently being taught from like 95 up to now, and it's crazy.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to Paul for Paul to incorporate Russell's paradox into set theory, naive set theory.
I am going to do something on the double slit.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, the double slit experiments.
Yeah, double slit experiment. Yes, particle versus wave.
Yeah,
adding that to my comedy.
Fantastic.
So everything's good. Enjoying myself and the company of you gentlemen.
Yes. Well, let's see what the chat is saying. We got Shum here who says, "Want an emoji? How about an elf emoji? Want an emoji? How about a Fanta emoji? Mexican Iron Man can't wait for the flash on the big screen. Says so all the time." Andre, when are we getting those emojis up on the main channel here? I already got them up on Mead.
Well, pass them to me and we'll get them up here.
Get on that, Culture.
Yeah. What am I doing?
Mail me, and
you got them.
And we'll get some more emojis up here in Mike's honor.
I need Fanta and I need an elf emoji for Andre. Already got them on Mead. Maybe we should do different ones for the main channel.
Is battery acid. I can't drink it.
Yeah, that's the joke. Is neither can Mike.
I just got another idea. We need to get like the brown shirt version of Chato as well, with the purple hair and everything. That would be a fun one.
Well, Chato,
don't put me in a brown shirt. That wouldn't feel too comfortable.
No, just
I only meant symbolically.
Oh, I see.
We'll call it woke Chato. There you go.
Purple hair, absolutely.
Woke Chato.
I did give myself purple hair on one of my thumbnails.
That's the one.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah,
that's what I'm talking about.
Dr. Long Dongler sends in a thumbs up. If you hadn't hit that thumbs up already, please do.
Yeah.
There's almost 800 and some, almost 850 of you in here now.
Wow.
Please hit the like button. We'd appreciate that. And I think we got a scripted one here from Trenchman, Andre.
Yeah, okay. Well, you have to prepare for this. I have no idea how to say this, but go for it. You take it away.
I'm assuming this is from the name of the video game character, but
yeah, I guess this
Liquid
Snake.
That was weird.
Yeah,
that is weird.
Thank you, Trenchman.
I hope that wasn't too bad.
Yeah, hopefully that. Yeah, I don't even want to ask. Trenchman sends in another $1.99. Thank you. It says, Batman 3 needs to happen after this.
Wait. Just 1 second. I was like, trying my best, like sneering Sheldon laugh, like, yeah, no, that's not going to happen. So
we're crying out loud. What was that?
Yeah, that was me attempting a sarcastic, mocking laugh. I can't really do it. I'm not an actor. I can only. Yeah.
I was gonna say, yeah, don't give up.
That's a price to pay for being dead inside. You're not too expressive.
Were the people in Viking Wolf Norwegian?
Yes, it's a Norwegian movie.
Oi.
Paul got to see that, by the way.
I take it wasn't too bad or too good.
No.
Or too well acted.
The rattiest evil wolf thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, the Norwegian film industry really ain't all that. And like some of these more recent movies, which are like very, shall we say, very Americanized, like creature features and stuff like that. I did like Troll. I loved Troll Hunter. But beyond that, when Norwegians try to do like something with anything that reeks of the supernatural in any way, shape, or form, or something trying to like bring back Viking mythology today, it's a disaster waiting to happen. That's one of the reasons why I have not been in a rush to see Viking Wolf, because I saw the trailer and I rolled my eyes.
That's an interesting observation, because I'll tell you something. If you replace the Norwegian dialogue with American dialogue, it's an American film.
That's exactly what I mean. It has completely lost anything that is unique. It is just like, it is like this fake Viking veneer on top, but I say it's fake because the people who wrote it, they obviously they don't understand.
Interesting. It's a good observation.
Like they saw like Vikings Valhalla and they think that now they're experts or something. These are the same kind of people that my friend Tord from Norse Magic and Belief sneers at. Probably much better than I can. So yeah, like movies like that, there's a reason I have not been in a rush to see it. It's the same reason I have not been in a rush to see Beforeigners, because it is kind of like this. It's like a very corporate thing in a sense with these Norwegian movies. You have like some executives that decided that, hey, we're Norwegians, so let's try to make American movies as Norwegians with a Viking veneer on top. Although these people who do that don't know anything about that culture, like they're no longer Vikings. They are something else.
Well, that wolf looked like a poor Irish wolfhound puppy dipped in water. Like it was just so pathetically bad. But you're right. That's a good observation. There wasn't a single thing culturally about it.
There's a reason why I am not in a rush to see any of those things.
Except for the hot-looking women.
Because I recognize them for what they are.
Interesting.
For the fakery they are.
It is completely.
There are some really, really cool Norwegian movies out there, and I'd be very happy to give you a list of them. Viking Wolf ain't among them. Neither is Beforeigners.
So just last question. Would Viking Wolf be popular amongst the young set in Norway, or do they see through it?
They wouldn't see through it, but they would see it as dumb. Because when you have an American movie that just so happens to have Norwegian dialogue, it doesn't work. There's some kind of like thing there that just doesn't jive. And I can tell from the trailer that this is basically an American movie with Norwegian dialogue, and they don't work. There's like something in the culture there, something that just doesn't pass the smell test.
Well, I'll say Troll felt much more Norwegian, genuinely Norwegian to me than this.
Troll works. There's a reason I spoke up about, did a review and everything, because that movie worked. And Troll Hunter. Have you seen Troll Hunter?
No.
You have to see Troll Hunter. That one is even better. I mean, that's pure Norwegian through and through.
Well, we should end with the Norwegian movie talk before we lose all our subscribers.
Yeah, well, that was...
Well, back to the
Norwegian detour.
Super Chat.
To the Super Chat.
And he says, Batman 3 needs to happen after all this. Of course, what Trench is talking about, I think, is the... original idea for Batman 3 before Tim
we have a Batman 3. It's called Batman Forever.
I was gonna say we already got one. Yeah. That was a whole thing where people were like, I think I saw George Clooney in the trailer. I'm like, where and why? That would make no friggin' sense, because George Clooney is technically the same Batman that Michael Keaton is.
Same with Val Kilmer.
Yeah, same with Val Kilmer. Yeah.
Well, I'm sure that they can find a way to now make the Flash explain why they look different.
I don't see that being good.
Yeah.
There's just like everybody going, because Grace Randolph had said something
But you know what?
everybody
Let's
thought they
do
were
a few-
seeing ghosts in the trailer, and I'm like, there is no Christian Bale in the trailer either. But yeah,
But we'll save that for the proper trailer discussion. Let's just plow through a few more of these super chats, and then we'll get into the trailer discussion proper here.
we got Coffee Lover, who's been a member for 1 month. Thank you so much, Coffee Lover. And then we've got the God Dictator of South Africa says, Alex Kurtzman gave a farewell speech at the premiere, and the delivery was clear that this man has been pink slipped. Friend was at the premiere.
Oh,
Yeah, you were telling me about this.
Interesting.
I want to hear it in context because I'm not so sure. I think it was a farewell to Picard, not to himself, but we'll see. He's got a couple of years left on that contract yet. Miguel Farah says, pointless super chat to further confuse. What is this super chat for?
They achieved it.
Yeah.
No.
Achieved it.
Mission accomplished.
Hate it when he does that. JWT 6577 says, I grew up a Lions fan, which is why I'm a Packers fan today. Good choice.
I'm going to remain a Lions fan just for Chris.
Thanks. I'll take it.
The Lions had the greatest running back in the history of the NFL, and they misused him in a way that never got him an opportunity to win a Super Bowl.
Yep, that's exactly right. He was great.
Waltman wants to know, Andre, have you ever heard of the cartoon Visionaries?
Visionaries.
We talked
They were
about
based
it
on
last
a
night.
figure, action figure line. We were talking about it last night. Yeah.
No, actually, I haven't. I was like trying to rack my brain, but all I could think of were the Centurions. So here's like the thing.
Similar-ish, but not exactly. Yeah.
Of
no.
all the stuff that you got in the States, like none of this ever like came to Norway.
Didn't they have like
what I know
holographic stuff in those?
Is what we basically got on satellite from the UK. So if they didn't get it there, or if it wasn't on a channel that was available on satellite, I never saw it. Visionaries, that one has gone over my head. I'm not familiar with this. I have to look it up.
They were kind of riding the coattails of Masters of the Universe. And their gimmick was they had the holographic stickers all over them and shit.
Yeah.
But yeah. Snail Messiah says, is Andre a psychologist? Not that I know of, but he does.
No, I am not. But I saw like someone asking when I mentioned Maslow's pyramid of needs, and I also mentioned the Milgram experiment. These are things I am familiar with because no, I am not a psychologist, but I did do a year of psychology studies before I started my master's in banking and finance, or in finance rather.
My relatives from Transylvania are psychologists.
There you go. So yeah, I do have more than average layman's understanding of the field of psychology, but I'm not claiming any more expertise than that.
Action Com says, how can you Canucks do a show knowing Elf and his buddies are invading Canadian airspace?
Yeah.
Who cares? Let them come. Let them go speak to our quote unquote leaders.
Yep.
And we'll
Take over.
Let's go about our day.
Take over.
ALF, is this like another keyword for like
It's an
the leader
acronym
of
for
China?
alien life form.
Oh right. Oh yeah, of course. Oh yeah. Okay, I get you now. Yeah, I get you now. Please tell me people are able to see through that psyop.
Speaking of philosophers, I always found it was interesting that Kierkegaard, who was the philosopher of love, had the absolute worst personal life, and Nietzsche, who was the philosopher of money, had the absolute worst financial existence of anybody.
It's funny how that works.
Can't take their own advice.
Nope.
Yeah. And also look at comedians. Comedians are also typically the most tragic people you can find. Not
That's
all of
stand-up.
them, obviously, but
That's
many
stand-up,
of the traditional great ones, deeply tragic characters.
That's mostly stand sketch comedians. We tend to be better, more well adjusted.
Yeah, because you
Well,
have friends. Like
I
stand-up
have
people
a,
have friends.
I have a photograph of these unidentified flying objects from Canada.
Yeah, let's
see.
see. I
It
look
appears
forward
to
it.
be another one of those balloons from China. It looks like, I guess here, according to this, they zoom in. and you can tell it's definitely a Chinese balloon.
Oh my God. It's
Well, I mean, it only
Xi
makes
himself.
sense. The aliens never invade Canada in the movies, so in reality, they have to invade us.
It's their secret plan.
Yeah.
Well, where else would they go? There's, it's like the main place to go.
All I know is if they have the solution for, getting rid of this ESG.
Too many people everywhere else. How are they going to get rid of ESG?
I don't know. They're working on it in Florida. We'll see.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if we now soon are informed that the aliens has said that, oh, you guys, you need to do more of it, and you should do a one world government while you're at it. But
they'll be laughed out of the building.
That's kind of like what I'm thinking. I hope that people are able to see through this.
Yeah.
And for those that don't see through this, you need to see the movie Wag the Dog.
Oh
That
my
is what's
God.
playing out right now.
One of my all-time favorite movies. I've seen it about 15 times.
So yeah, exactly. So for anyone wanting their take on aliens showing up and everything right now, go see the movie Wag the Dog. You know that this is a real life remake of it.
If you ever see running shoes tossed over power lines, that's from Wag the Dog.
Yep.
Knight 742. What is that? That is 5. Is that rubles?
Is it yen?
Yeah, it's a yen.
Oh, it's a yen.
Yeah.
500 yen. Well, thank you so much, Knight 742. Says Bounty into Comics just published an article about Clooney's Batman replacing Keaton at the end of The Flash. I mean, where is this coming from?
Clooney's 59 years old, I think.
So,
I could be wrong.
Michael Keaton's in his 60s.
No, I know, but
I'm Batman.
I'm like, you're trying to get a longer running Batman, but
they're trying to get rid of the Batman. Like, what? They add more to the mix.
I believe it.
A new one.
I think it's true.
I don't. I think it's fucking preposterous. Because it comes from Grace fucking Randolph.
I think this is something that James Gunn may have done. Like, I don't know this. This is just me speculating. But this sounds like something that James Gunn may have done. And I'll tell you why I think that. Because what we know is that there's nothing beyond this movie. The DC universe is going to be rebooted. There's no The Flash 2. There's no Michael Keaton's Batman Part 3. None of this is forthcoming. Michael Keaton's Batman is a one and done here. Now, we also know that they had all of this footage that was set up to build further sequels and everything like that, right? And now they're no longer happening. So what I think, this is just me speculating. I have no sources or anything like this here. This is just my pure speculation and nothing else. But my speculation that I think fits this observation is that when they ripped out all of the tissue, which was meant to set up something for the future, then they needed something to replace it with, just to have the movie make sense. So instead, what I think that James Gunn did was that, okay, now I'm going to find a way to explain how you went from Keaton's Batman to Kilmer's Batman to Clooney's Batman, because as you correctly pointed out, Tom, all of these are meant to be the same Batman. Yet somehow there was like this creative change in what the world looked like between the movies.
Oh, this comes from Sil Abdul. Never mind. Don't even take. Sorry.
Okay, I don't know where it's from. I'm just like speculating out loud here. This is just me speculating.
No, I just read the story. Sorry. I have no faith in this report at all.
Yeah, but anyway, I'm just saying that one way that it can be true is just that James Gunn decided, hey, wouldn't it be fun if we now go and we explain how Batman went and he looked different from one movie to the next, and used the Flash to do that. I can see that as something that they did to retrofit the movie for one final time, this time without building anything for the future. Chris Gore, does that sound plausible to you, or am I just reaching here?
Sorry. What's the question? I was answering an email.
Oh yeah, there you go. No, basically, like, do you think there's anything to the rumors that Clooney is replacing Keaton's Batman at the end of the Flash?
No, that's BS. That's BS. I mean, a lot of these rumors are just fan, wish fulfillment. Like, oh, wouldn't it be cool? But no, that's not going to happen. That's not.
And it wouldn't also be cool because it's silly and preposterous.
That's correct. That's correct. But I do hear, I mean, I know a couple people who've seen The Flash and they love it. They say it's really good. I was pretty impressed with that trailer. I thought the trailer, it looks like a fun adventure. There's a heart to it. It's Barry trying to save his mother. It's the consequences of that and how that disrupts a multiverse.
How?
And well, I think we saw it in the trailer. You know,
He creates a verse with no metahumans and no one to fight the bad guys.
Why would him trying to save his mother have anything to do with anybody else, especially shit before he was even born?
No, because whatever changes he made to his universe to do what he wanted to do affected everything else. I mean, that's how these things tend to plot out.
They do, but they're supposed to affect everything else from a fixed point across everywhere else.
That's what I'm getting at.
But
that's the biggest logic flaw in the Flashpoint concept is that it doesn't work that way.
I agreed, but if we're going to start arguing over this, then we're going to start talking about, can the Hulk beat up Superman? I don't want to.
That's not how the Force works, though.
Actually, when it comes to something like that, it's whatever the writer's outcome wants it to be, because it's not predicated on time travel principle.
all I know is that, and a lot of people's hearts started beating faster when they saw the Keaton Batman, and then went back down after they saw the female Superman.
I was a little disappointed that we saw almost a verbatim shot from an Arkham Asylum video game of Batman doing something that doesn't feel like it should be in a movie.
They just have to prevent anyone who's played the game from watching the movie.
Well, my issue was seeing a 60-year-old Batman do stuff he couldn't do in 1989.
I don't have. First of all, I don't have any issues with it. I mean, I like. It looks fun.
Yeah,
it looks like this is going to wrap up. It's going to introduce us and reset the universe, as James Gunn pointed out. And I think it's great. I don't think Keaton was ever, based on the technology, ever able to go full Batman. So I think the best we've seen Batman in combat was actually in Batman v Superman, in that scene where he takes out, all the villains in that warehouse. So I have no problem with any of that. I think it's awesome. I think it's freaking cool. And who knows when we're seeing this Batman, or how old this Batman is, the Keaton Batman, right?
And he was in his mid to late 60s when he filmed it. So
what's that?
He was in his mid to late 60s when he filmed it. So
exactly. So look, it looks a lot of fun. I think that and I've spoken directly with two people who've seen the movie. They actually say the girl who plays Supergirl, it's really good. It's an interesting, different take. It's different. So I don't think she's going to survive. I think she's a one and done. I think Ezra Miller may be one and done after this. I don't know that he'll continue. If you look at the pathway, I don't see how he fits into James Gunn's universe. So, but no, it was a fun trailer, unexpectedly good. And I think that,
I agree with Chris.
It wasn't just about Keaton. I thought that, Ezra Miller interacted with a different version of himself, and you can tell them apart. Why? They have different haircuts. So
that's called hair acting.
Acting. So I think it looks great. I think it looks like a lot of fun, and I've heard it compared to Back to the Future 2, because you're going through events that you already are aware of or have seen in other movies. Obviously, Man of Steel plays into it because Zod is there, so we're going to see a different result of those events.
Yeah, we get to see Supergirl beat his ass instead of Superman.
I don't have a problem with that.
I don't have a problem with that.
I'm fine with that.
I don't have a problem with that at all. So and look.
Okay, but every other movie we have an issue with the girl becoming the key to everything. She's literally coming in and replacing Superman, Henry Cavill Superman, to beat Zod.
Yeah, but we have to find out how.
Yeah, everything I've heard is she's a highlight of the film. Her take on this character. It's a different take. It's a different Supergirl. She's not blonde in a miniskirt. So
She's Latino.
Yeah, she's different. It's different. My understanding is like I guess she lands in a South American country, so it's just different. So
That shouldn't make her Latino though.
Homeless.
I know, I'm
People
just
telling
saying.
me to shut up out there. I thought the trailer looked great. Can't wait to play the video game because that's what it fucking looked like to me.
I think it looks.
We all know what happens in the movie. All this trailer did was confirm all the leaks from a year ago.
I have no idea. Don't tell me.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I say, I've spoken to 2 people who've seen it and they loved it. Now I do think that they told me what some of the things that happened in the end, and I think it's going to be different because I think they definitely will have changed the ending as a reset for James Gunn. But Ezra Miller going forward, if you look at the slate that James Gunn announced, I don't see how Ezra Miller fits in. And maybe he has to, maybe he kind of sacrifices himself so he can stay with his mom. Who knows? I've heard it's a combination of comedy and heartfelt, and so there you go. And maybe maybe Henry Cavill is still in the movie. We still don't know. But I think people were pleasantly surprised by the trailer. It's gotten a fairly positive reaction. Yeah. I mean, I watched it like 3 times and I thought that's a movie I want to see.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
You know how Ezra Miller stays? $2 billion in gross.
Yeah, if it makes a lot of money, mine would be so,
now, the main thing that no one is talking about, which if you are trying to hang your hat on what Gunn is doing and how he's dealing with the existing properties, you look no further than his tweet where, and I quote, "I love this." This is with reflash. "I love this movie so much. Can't wait for you all to see it." That is, he's hanging himself out to dry with that statement if he's wrong.
Yep.
Why would he do that? Why would he write that if he did not believe that this was going to be he's going to be able to have
2
money?
reasons. One, to stay in good graces with Warner Brothers because they have 7 years of production expenses behind this film, and 2, not to ruin the potential box office with the film as well.
I agree, but he didn't have to be this effusive.
Well, he has to make up for a lot of anti-Trump tweets. So
I agree with Script on this one. I don't think that means anything, what he says right there. I read as completely generic marketing statement that can mean that he genuinely likes the movie or that he genuinely wants the studio to make as much money as possible on it, given that so many people now know that James Gunn is going to reboot everything anyway, and there is no future in it.
He didn't
He
have
also
to.
said Tom King was a great writer too. Remember that?
Exactly, and that makes me question everything about James Gunn.
He didn't have to write anything. So
that he may have had. He's the head of DC right now.
No, but Warner is hitching their wagon to his reputation and brand. If the movie sucks and people view his take on it here as completely incorrect, there's going to be less trust in anything he says from here on in. It's not a benefit to Warner either to hang Gunn out to dry.
No, you're absolutely right. But then that's under the presumption that Warner Brothers is actually, and most Hollywood people are actually thinking 3 or 4 months ahead, and they don't.
Exactly.
Like that's just one of the things they don't. They're told, okay, marketing needs to make sure this movie's a success. Everybody get out there, say something positive, so that we can hopefully make some money.
Well, and I think that trailer. Because I have to say that even I was like, well, this doesn't look half bad. Yeah. And I think that a lot of people, as you guys point out, a lot of people will be pleasantly surprised by that trailer. Many, many people who don't remember like 3 news cycles ago, which was when Ezra was going crazy, being
Ezra.
We don't need to have Ezra being Ezra.
Let me put it to you this way. I had 3 of my normie friends reach out to me last night to celebrate that Michael Keaton's back. I'm like, yeah, that's old news 5 years ago. And they said, I really don't want to see it because of Ezra Miller. Their response was, who?
Exactly. There you go. Like in this sense, it only goes to show that that they were right in waiting this out in a sense, because they know the audience. They know the audience will be outraged exactly as it is in the news cycle, but they're going to forget everything about it 1 or 2 news cycles down the line. Then it's going to be Ezra who. It's just going to be some.
They had no fucking clue who I was talking about.
His graciness.
Not a clue.
You live in a bubble.
I kept referring to it as the Batman trailer.
No, Paul, it's more so that we just need to understand that most people don't know who Ezra Miller is yet. He's not like a huge star or anything. Sorry, Chris.
No, that's true. I mean, but he was the comic relief in Justice League. He was the comic relief of that team.
Well, yeah, as soon as I said he's Flash, they knew who I was talking about, but they don't have any clue about his, problems.
There was comedy in Justice League.
No, there was awkwardness that some people considered comedy.
That's what
if you laugh at the neurodivergent character, then yeah, you can consider that comedy.
Yeah.
Look, Gunn's motivations are purely financial. Any of his statements or anything else, he's got to get the financial backing to make these films or these animated series or television shows, whatever it is that he's been promoting with his new reboot of everything. So when he tweets something, it's done with a certain amount of political finesse and in pursuit of budget and finance for his creations. I'm sorry, I know that's quite cynical.
Well, and he's started pushing comics a lot lately, and I think that's where we need to remember that
and
he's just doing his job. And it's the same thing we saw at the end of the Flash trailer was a bunch of comics.
Yeah, and I think that's exactly what they did. They put 3 comic books up there. If you want to read about this, check out these poorly received, complete trash pieces of comic material. Enjoy. Oh, and Tom King's a freaking great writer.
No, I don't blame him. He's doing what he's being paid for, but that means I'm not going to trust if anything he says out of his mouth until now or the movies come out, basically.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing: if Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is good, and I know we haven't got there yet trailer-wise, but if that's good, it will lend a little more credibility to Gunn. Because
absolutely,
right now, I don't hold him in very high regard, despite the first Guardians film being good. So.
Yeah. As for me, what he said about Tom King and basically his Batman movie and his Catwoman, like all this Tom King plus bringing in Wesley Crusher for Batman. I mean, my expectation is completely nosedived.
That's the way people look at Damian Wayne.
Yeah,
Wesley Crusher. You mean
referred to as the Wesley Crusher of the Batverse? Yes.
Batman. Yeah.
Oh.
But before we go on to the next trailer, I do have an NFL thing to ask all of you guys. But actually, which I think is important, and no one's talking about it. I thought it was huge news.
Oh, how we got the scripted ending we needed?
Okay. That YouTube is going to start showing NFL Sunday
Ticket.
Yeah.
Ticket.
Yeah.
So they've already been showing some games because I had to listen to my dad gripe about it, but yeah.
But I think that's a bigger deal than anyone is making it out to be.
Absolutely. I actually have YouTube TV. I tried out every one of those services, and YouTube TV works great. There's unlimited shows that you can quote record or keep in your library. I've got like every Rose Bowl parade. I've got games going back months. So your library you can build up. You can pick a team and it records everything. There's no limit. You can use it anywhere. It's not restricted like Spectrum has a system, but you can only use it on their internet. But I can watch YouTube TV like at the bar. Like it's great. Like I can watch it on my phone anywhere. It doesn't matter. It's really great. The other thing that people aren't talking about this Super Bowl that I think is incredibly significant is, the ads that were non-movie ads. There was the new Indy 5 trailer, which I thought was terrible. Phoebe Waller-Bridge says, "I'm here to save you." which I thought was ridiculous, as she needed saving herself. It was sort of stupid. I thought the new Guardians trailer was very good. That was fun. But what was very interesting was this. There was a severe lack of wokeness in the trailers. In fact, I was shocked when I saw a non-mixed race family. Like, it was literally like, wait, is that just an intact white family in a commercial during the Super Bowl? And it stood out to me as being unusual. In addition, there was the very funny snack ad with
Breaking Bad.
The Breaking Bad. That one was very good. The Ben Affleck one for Dunkin' Donuts. That was funny. Bradley Cooper with his mom. And my thought is she actually couldn't do the commercial, so they turned it into a goof. And I thought it was very funny. We're back to, because we were just before the Super Bowl started, which the annoying pomp and circumstance of the Super Bowl, the Doritos official coin flip, the only thing they did do the two America, whatever they did, the Star Spangled Banner. They also did Lift Every Voice, right at the top. They did that, then Star Spangled Banner. But other than that, the commercials, the other thing they didn't do, Biden, usually the president of the United States does an interview during the Super Bowl. It's like at halftime, it's softballs for the most part. It's like a short interview. Biden did not do it. And you know what? I didn't miss it. We don't need to politicize the Super Bowl, but the severe lack of woke advertising. There was one ad from Disney celebrating their 100 years, which was like, they just should have called it diversity, the advertisement. Because
Chris, I don't want to interrupt, but I just want to bring culture, because I know that you had a great take on why Biden didn't have a speech on this. Just give your take on that before Chris resumes.
I don't believe that he was prepared to answer tough questions. You have whoever's hosting the game gets a news interview with the president. He sidestepped that interview on purpose because Fox would have actually asked him very tough questions during the course of that interview, including the balloons and all the other controversies going on, and even the thing that just happened in Ohio. He was absolutely being protected from difficult questions, which is why that didn't occur. So that was my take in the back.
Yeah, well, I mean, that could very well be. I mean, he's certainly weak as a president and completely blind to all the huge problems that affect everyone, especially if you go. I went to a grocery store yesterday with a basket, $78 for a basket of food from Trader Joe's in California. All I got was basics, eggs, a chicken, meat, whatever. A basket was $78. Things are out of control, and clearly.
Why did you just buy the basket? You should have put some stuff in it.
Well, it was under $900. I should have just stolen it. But it's very disconcerting to see how out of touch our, this political party that's in power. They're just,
according to Mayor Seth Rogen, you could have just walked out.
Just leave.
Fuck that guy. Anyway, so
I know.
What I thought was interesting was, and I didn't realize it until after. It's like, wow, there was a severe lack of luxury, woke advertising. And then I really noticed it because every commercial, and look, it's not as if mixed race couples, don't exist in the real world. There's a lot of them. It's very common, but it's in every fucking commercial. So it gets kind of annoying. It's like Jesus, and when I noticed that one of the commercials just had a family of all people of the same ethnicity, I was like, wow, when do you see that in a TV commercial? And so it was just surprising. So we didn't notice it until after, and then it's like, oh yeah, they're really and there were commercials that were highly entertaining. I mean, we were kind of like before the Super Bowl started, like thinking to ourselves, wait, do you remember the Bud Bowl? Do you remember the Was Up guys? Those are 20-year-old ads, but they're so entertaining that we remember them to now. Now, I don't think there was anything iconic that came out of this Super Bowl. And, you know, a lot of those ads were entertaining but forgettable. But I will say that the lack of wokeness was noticeable, and that's important. They think that's an important, that tells me something.
Well, we're hitting.
I don't think it's just because it was on Fox, right?
No.
What does Fox have to do with the commercials?
Oh,
you know,
nothing.
you buy commercial ad time.
Well, no, famously, that's where the
Just
Gillette
getting back
ad
to my
showed was the
point-
Super Bowl.
Getting
Sorry.
back to my point, I'm just wondering what this means. The purchase of Sunday Night Ticket. Usually these streaming services get very lazy. Rather than trying to expand their streaming capability by making good product, they'll license a sport. Apple's done that with baseball.
Yeah, well, when you're right about the football thing. Prime Ticket going to YouTube, and I did a video on this in January 19th when it happened.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's okay. No, it's okay. Nobody that was buried by YouTube, by the way. It was one of my worst performing videos, but it is a huge deal, and YouTube is going to do a very good job with it, as Chris suggested. And it's a huge loss for DirecTV, but it's a bigger loss for all the other networks because
that's my point.
Yeah, it is, and that was the whole point of my video. Is like, this is a massive deal. So the other networks are going to be underwriting a huge amount of the cost of producing these games and delivering them as content, and YouTube is going to benefit from all that production and just basically repurpose it for their own streams. It's a fascinating thing. I'm like, they got a bargain. It's costing Disney billions of dollars, right? But YouTube got a bargain for their $1 billion a year Prime Ticket deal that they signed. It's insane.
everyone talks about Amazon and Apple, but Google has got the money to basically buy every sports broadcast out there.
Yep, and they have. But again, it's a beautiful leverage of money because
and it also goes to what we were saying before about YouTube is the #1 most viewed platform on the planet now.
Yes, it is. It's the
like people forget that all the time.
World.
Yeah. And when you look at streaming on YouTube versus any streaming service, it's YouTube. When you look at any media consumption platform, it's YouTube. YouTube is the dominant force in the market across the board, and nothing else even comes close.
Yeah. So basically more people are watching it than networks at this point, and that's why this is happening. But Chris, I think you're also right on we've hit a wall with the woke thing. Like, there's a great episode last week on South Park, and we've seen some other things that are kind of getting to that point where it's like,
Velma looks like isn't going to get picked up for a second season.
I heard something about that. Yeah,
it's all I'm saying is if this is the canary in the coal mine that things are going to change, the lack of woke advertising on the Super Bowl, that is a sign, and that is a significant sign. Don't diminish the significance of that. And just wait.
Oh, absolutely. The
big thing, though, is going to be the Oscars. How are the Oscars going to be different? Is Jimmy Kimmel going to come out guns blazing, making fun of the industry, making fun of woke? And from my understanding, from friends of mine who work deep in the industry for corporations, people are openly mocking woke stuff. They're openly mocking it because they know it's over. And a lot of the jobs, another big significant thing, Disney's cutting 7,000 jobs. Are they keeping the diversity and equity department? And why the hell would you need that if you're letting go of 7,000 people? The last person you're going to keep is someone who decides whether or not we have enough diversity in a company when we're losing 7,000 jobs. Let me tell you where those jobs are going to be cut. It's not going to be cut at the theme parks because that's making money. The theme parks are making money.
Well, not in Canada. Not in Canada. My alma mater just added a vice president of diversity, inclusivity, equity.
Canada is lost. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Paul. Canada is lost.
Oh, I agree.
Until you get rid of Trudeau, I cannot believe Trudeau was allowed. His response to the truckers, guys, just saying, "Hey, we're kind of against this. We're gonna protest peacefully, but we're gonna have our voices heard." That is democratic. That is liberal to allow people to speak their minds and voice their political concerns to the government that is supposed to be voted in by the people. And Trudeau, F that guy, F him and his whole government. I cannot wait for him to go away. He is that model and the people standing up against it. There needs to be more of it. It's horribly disgusting. and I hope he goes down in flames.
Hey, we had a National Arts Center event because of Black History Month, and we do everything that you do in the United States because we don't have minds of our own. And they had evenings where only people of a certain color were allowed to come see the show.
Yeah. Well, I've always thought of Canada as like America's little brother that wants to tag along and do everything that the older brother's doing. We're the older brother,
and the bad stuff too.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Exactly.
But we're also kind of the ground zero for wokeism, unfortunately. Like I've seen it. Years before I even came into Hollywood.
We're too polite and nice. We have America has more assholes, and assholes I mean good, not evil. Assholes that will stand up to bullies. And Trudeau is a bully. And the bullies that I've seen, especially in the corporate world, the bullies that I've noticed are always the nicest people you've ever met. They're so nice to your face. I don't trust it. I don't trust it because I think it's false and I think it's BS. A side note, funny story that because I unfortunately I gotta go. I got a meeting. But funny story that a friend of mine told me. Disney is insisting that people come back to work. Come back to work. Come back to the office. You need to work. The minimum like 4-day week in the office. There was this was told to me directly by somebody. There was a discussion at Disney about the types of food that they would have available to people in the office. One of the foods they want to have available are types of cereal, which spiraled into a discussion of how privileged you were if you grew up eating cereals like Fruity Pebbles and Cocoa Puffs versus if you just had generic version of Cheerios. And so it turned into this whole, like a serious discussion of what cereals to order to keep in the office available to Disney workers in the office. And then what it meant if you grew up eating this cereal, it meant that you were rich. And if you had this cereal, you grew up poor. And that's how stupid we still are. But I will say this, people are growing, they're growing a pair, and they're bravely standing up and at least questioning, like, hey, this woke stuff isn't popular. We can't attack the fans every time a product we put out is not widely popular. We can't stop attacking the audience every single time as cover for us not giving the audience what they want. And so watching that Flash trailer, there's nothing woke about it. Just to bring it back to the Flash, which I thought was a very good
and
trailer.
I think it's ironic that Chris has been covering all the Canadian politics today, and neither Script nor I have said anything.
No,
exactly. Well, I'm sorry, I just pay attention. I have a lot of friends in Canada.
Oh no. I think it's wonderful, and there are changes happening up here also, and it's going to happen slowly, but people are revolting.
You got to get rid of Castro Jr.
Well, because
Castro Jr.
I grew up in Detroit, Michigan, so I watched the CBC. I watched children's programming. I watched Hockey Night in Canada, Friendly Giant, Mr. Dress Up, Casey and Finnegan, like all that
Forest
stuff.
Rangers,
like Rocket's Robin Hood,
the
stop motion animated Wizard of Oz, which was weird, among other things. But all I'm saying is I would go to Canada. The Toronto Film Festival was the first major film festival I attended as a teenager. And I just drove over to Windsor and took the train. You know, it was at the time a much smaller event. Now it's way too politicized, and it's like Cannes now. It's a backdoor market for films. But
it's worse than Cannes now. It is way worse than Cannes.
And
they don't do Canadian. They don't do Canadian premieres or even international premieres unless you have like at least 2 names in that associated with that production.
Yeah, no, it's just another big festival that, you know, pays more attention to its sponsors. But the roots were there. I mean, Noah Cowan just passed away, who's long been with I knew him when he ran the Midnights program. We're around the same age. He recently passed away, and so it's sad. But he did the Midnight movies. He was the guy
Midnight
who programmed all
yeah.
So really, really appreciate his contribution. It was sad to read of his passing, but unfortunately I got to leave. But look, I think positive things are the Flash trailer didn't look woke either. You know what it looked like? Entertaining as hell. Give me something entertaining as hell. Yeah, entertaining as hell. It's, you know what? it's at the top of my want to see list, and then Indiana Jones just fell out of the top 10. I don't know
What
why.
do you think of Mario Brothers?
So bad. It looks so bad.
What'd you think of Mario Brothers?
Yeah. My apologies, folks. I gotta run.
Jim Watari sends in $20 and says, "Thanks for that rant, Chris."
The rant is only because I haven't had enough coffee, and I'm.
And then Miguel Farah says, "Could Andre's culture outgore Chato's script?" Okay, whatever that means. He's trying to confuse me some more. Thank you, Chris, for being here. We appreciate it.
Thanks a lot, everybody. I'll see you next Monday. Lots to discuss. I'm sure we'll be talking about Ant-Man.
Yeah.
So, all right. Take care, everybody. Talk to you soon. Later. Bye-bye.
Sounds good.
All right. Take care, Chris.
And when Ant-Man comes out, we should get a proper entomologist to talk about ants.
Ooh, that was one of the better commercials last night. Was the
beer one with the? It was okay.
Yeah, with the ants. Yeah,
it was okay.
It was all right. But I haven't seen too many of the other ones. But I did see all the trailers.
Will Ferrell and the GM one was bizarre.
I didn't see that one.
Yeah, electric. It was a combo Netflix GM electric car ad. Netflix promising to put more electric cars in their shows.
Mm.
Soon, not having an electric car will be like smoking in a movie. They're going to ban you from driving an ICE car. So, but it did give me an idea for a video, which I'm writing right now, which is, what are they going to do with zombie movies when it's just electric cars and they can't like siphon gas into them or anything?
Yeah, it takes too long to charge because
they need to find a giant wind farm or a solar cell farm, and then trickle charge a DC current into it.
Hopefully it's not cloudy.
Yes, that's right. So, anyways, what would?
Like an engineering principle, the electric engine is fine. It's merely just the power source that's the issue. It's the battery power source. If they had another generator in there, you'd be in a zero emission car. That's actually pretty cool. But
yeah, so one of my gags is a still from Bullet, where I'm telling everybody that this is actually from the film, and you can't hear it because he's riding an electric Mustang. This is how boring it's going to be.
Yeah.
Fast and the Furious, all electric.
Silent.
or the horrible coil whine of electric motors.
Let's get to some more of these super chats before we get on to more of the trailers.
Steal that idea. I'm writing it now.
Sure. Okay. I forgot it already. STR Red Wolf says Andre has the perfect supervillain laugh. That was kind of scared me, so I guess.
Yeah.
That was pretty close.
I can only try to get close to like the Klauses of the world, the real Bond villains.
One of the best villains I ever saw was the Lady Killers with the
Tom Hanks,
Peter Sellers.
No, he wasn't in it. The British version.
Oh.
With Alec Guinness, where he started off as a screaming mob boss, and as things got worse at the very end, he got quieter and quieter. It was great. It went completely the opposite. That was a nice take. The Lady Killers. You shouldn't have killed the old lady. Question for Chato.
Sadly, I've only seen the crappy remake.
No,
Patrick Robinsob says, question for Chato. Chato, love your video and watched your video on Hogwarts Legacy. You brought up good points. Are you playing it or started?
Well, I mean, it's out for the PlayStation 4. I am interested in getting it, actually, to tell you the truth. So,
as somebody who's played it, Paul, it's a beautiful game.
Yeah. Okay. Like I like the what is it? The Zelda game, Wild, Call of the Wild.
Yeah, Call of the Wild is a beautiful game too. But this is aesthetically pleasing so far. I mean, I'm only just started it, but it's lovely so far.
Okay, I shall buy it. Yes, that's been a very popular video for me talking about the insanity around.
It was a good video.
Hogwarts Legacy. Thank you. What if the balloon over Canada is Danish instead? Well,
do you remember where you were when the Dane and Canada war started? I do.
What's the island we're fighting over script?
Oh, it's in Iceland, isn't it?
Greenland.
No. Greenland. It's Greenland. Sorry.
Yeah. So I think we just signed a peace treaty with the Danish. We're exchanging their sweets with our poutine.
Yeah, and I think both flags are allowed to be on that island now because we keep taking theirs and putting ours.
It kind of would be hilarious if the balloon really was from Denmark and it was going to Canada. All you would need is the Danish music from South Park. Remember that song, Tom, right?
Oh, is that the
troll farm one?
Yes. Yeah.
That's a real song. I could do like a live translation of that.
You know what?
I remember the one you're talking about.
This Danish-Canadian kerfuffle would be a perfect Bill Forsyth movie. If you know who Bill Forsyth is. Like it's a huge thing about nothing.
Yeah.
Well, for those, since we have it on screen, Chato,
yes.
On behalf of the Danish people who are watching, who may not even be aware, can you tell us what's the kerfuffle between Denmark and Canada about? I can tell you right away that no, this one does not involve any mooses.
I know it vaguely, but I don't know any details.
Yeah, I can't remember what the name of it's not even really much of an island. It's literally a rock.
Yeah.
And so it's not Greenland then.
No.
I'm sorry. I misspoke on that one because
there's definitely Iceland either, or not Iceland either.
No. There's a rock that's actually really close between those two countries, and Canada sends out a ship regularly to plant our flag on it. And then the Danes send a ship and they take the flag out and put their flag. And then we come back a couple days later and do the same. And it's just back and forth. And it's the longest most peaceful conflict we've had with the country.
Hans Island.
Yes.
Hans Island.
That's Hans Island. Yeah.
That's it.
I have to say it sounds Danish.
Until one day all hell broke loose.
Yes. And
the Canadian-Danish War.
I mean, it's like I said, it's a perfect Bill Forsyth movie.
You never had a war between two of the nicest people in the world.
Well, it goes all the way back to 1933, so it's the longest non-conflict conflict ever.
So basically, it's the Falklands Northern Edition.
That's so funny, and it's like a half a mile.
You know, Canadians in wait, hiding as a Danish crew sneaks on the island and puts their flag on, takes the Canadian flag down, and then
we're putting our flag here. You get out of here.
Well, the thing is,
you take off, hosers. We're putting our flag there, eh?
Hold on. They've done it so often that there are probably enough Canadian flags in Denmark for every citizen, and then some.
Oh, it's so amazing.
We have plans for them.
And we only came up with our flag in like the 60s. Before that was the Union Jack that we had. So
it is pretty far up. I'm looking at the map. It is almost at the top of Greenland, halfway up Hillsboro Island. It's in the middle of nowhere.
Sorry, I can't understand a word you're saying there. Sorry.
But Greenland is its own place. It's not run by the
administratively, it's run by Denmark.
It is.
How is my Danish?
No, terrible.
I'm sure it is.
Denmark's a beautiful country. We spent quite a bit of time in Copenhagen. The thing I hate about it is that all the people there are beautiful.
Oh boy,
it's really.
I actually loved that part. That was.
Yeah, but you're one of the good-looking young people.
Thank you. But I'm not.
One of the highest tax rates on the globe at over 55% of your income.
Actually, the Danish tax rate is one of the few that's even higher than the Norwegian one.
Yeah,
who will pay your taxes?
But I talked with some Norwegians about that, and the ones I talked to said this was a voted decision. It was explained to us, what we were getting into, and we decided that this was appropriate for our country because they pay for all education. They even pay for your room and board. If you're a student in specific schools, you don't pay anything.
Yeah, and any public university is basically free. All you pay
Yes.
for is the books.
Well,
like same thing with with my 4-year degree at the University of Oslo. The expenditure there was the books. I had to pay when I did my master's in England. But up until then, it was the tuition fee was, I don't know, like a total
So
4 years.
It's
It was like a few $100. Culture, you were saying.
It's a if you're espousing a self-circulating socialist narrative, because you're going to have all these people that are super stoked on the free education and all the other garbage, which feeds back into all these social programs, and it's just constant cycle of lack of independence. Because
I'm not disputing that.
No, I'm not arguing that at all.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, if you go to a well-heeled university in the United States, you're at $100,000 a year. I mean.
Yeah.
There are extremes, and you're paying
$70,000 too much in the United States. So how smart are you if you're going to go to that university in the first place?
This is a very different argument, but it's nice to be in a country where almost everybody is well educated.
Okay, how's that working for you?
What, in Denmark?
No, or in Canada even.
Canada?
Canada hasn't been well educated for 20 years.
The problem is we've got way too many schools.
We have way too many schools, and unfortunately, so many of them are indoctrinated under the false premise that they actually are agents of the government, when they're not. Same with our healthcare system; it's actually not as connected to the government as you think it is.
Yeah, it's a single payer.
It's a single payer. Most hospitals are private, and they just build the insurance programs, and they get additional funding on request if required, but it's not often required. But again, when you're a private company, you're just like, oh, wait, there's a program where we can actually get lots of taxpayer dollars without having to do much. We're going to go for that, because why wouldn't they? Private companies do that in the United States all the time.
I think we veered off the main topic.
Oh, yeah.
It's my fault. Yes.
It's my
I'm
fault.
slightly annoyed you keep putting your stupid flag on my island.
Yeah, that's what it was.
That was it.
Hans Island.
Yes. Mario Trillo says Andre's laugh sounds like an oncoming raiding party.
Yeah.
I imagine that's probably what the
where it's from.
last thing you hear.
Oh, that was genuine joy.
That was genuine. That was kind of sadistic.
Yeah, well, yeah, of course. I was just imagine that's the last thing you hear before the battle axe comes and makes sure.
Yeah.
Pretty much that made him laugh. That's
right. The laugh of the
fun
heart
is hilarious.
Yeah, the laugh of the
I
heart.
love the sound that the skull makes when it cracks open.
Actually, even our word for cheers, like when you raise a glass, actually a skull, because that's what the Vikings would drink from. I'm not even joking when we say.
I can
skull,
see that.
What do you think it means?
I suppose because back in the day, y'all just hit each other in the head with each other's heads.
No, because you drank from skulls.
Yes.
Well, that too. Yeah, I suppose. A tipping barn has been a member for 5 months at the edgelord level. Says, Paul, what do you have against the UPS drivers?
Where did that come from? Did I say
brown
something?
shirts?
Brown shirt.
I think that was starting your I thought that's funny.
That is good.
Yeah.
Speaking of brown shirts, I heard a comedian, a very funny joke. Hitler married Eva Braun and the next day committed suicide. And so now you know what marriage is like.
And now you know what demonetization is like as well. That was three words in one sentence.
They're not paying attention by this point.
By this point, hopefully they're not paying attention yet. Cal Miles says that thin guy is Superman based on Flashpoint, and it looks like Cavill is going out disrespectfully.
What thin guy?
Yeah, I don't know. I think he's talking about Supergirl.
Yeah, that's a thin girl.
Thin girl.
And in the white medical scrubs thing. That's a woman, buddy.
Yeah,
I understand.
She's in the new homeless chic version of Superman.
This is what I said. You guys just wait for it. We're gonna get to see Supergirl be the answer to everything and defeat Zod, and probably do it better than Kal-El ever could.
Well, that's also, I mean, in the Flashpoint story, Superman is the key to everything. They just changed it to a girl in this part. And because Superman landed in Metropolis, the government got a hold of him and then have kept him in prison for 20 to 30 years.
Only it's Supergirl in this version.
They just made it Supergirl in this version.
Of course they
did.
The
story beats are the same. Except there's no Aquaman and Wonder Woman love affair and war, as far as I can tell in this trailer.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree with that. It appears ripped straight from the Flashpoint comic with gender bent Superman.
So So you're
That's why I can't get so excited for this. Yeah, I was happy to see Michael Keaton, but from there the CGI looked horrible. They've had 5 years to work on this CGI. That looks bad. I'm sorry.
You know that we'll never have CGI as good as the one we got 5 years ago again.
We went downhill, it seems like.
Yeah, for everything.
Callum Lyle says if KK was a firefighter, she would use gasoline and say, "Men built this, we have to destroy it and keep going, but and don't rebuild." Well, she would want to rebuild actually, but in her image, that's the difference.
The problem is nothing would get built is the biggest problem. So,
well, yeah, they'd argue over it the whole time. But yeah. Willie's here. How you doing, Willie? He did like the Flash trailer. Didn't like that trailer. Loved the Flash Super Bowl spot. Didn't like the trailer that much. Okay, so you liked the spot, but you didn't like the trailer. So for those who don't know, there was a like 50-second spot, or not even that much, released that actually had a little bit different footage than the actual trailer. And that's where I pulled the Ben Affleck shot from to prove to people that was not Christian Bale in the trailer.
Of course, we did that on Twitter. We haven't done that in this stream just yet. But,
no. But yeah, so there was technically 2 different spots in a way. So for those who have not seen the other shorter one, check it out, because there is elongated shots that are in the other trailer, but they're longer versions in the shorter trailer. I know that makes no fucking sense, but that's the way it is. Like they have the full shot of the electricity going through the 2 berries in the pre-trailer, but in the trailer it just shows the result already. Same thing with the motorcycle scene. They show it from a different angle.
2 berries sounds very painful. I don't want you talking about that.
Well, it smelled good at least.
It happened when I stuck my tongue in the outlet.
It smelled like strawberries and raspberries.
I'm surprised they didn't glow from the inside out, because that's usually what
happens.
There you go. Electrocuted.
Cough, please.
And then your muscles explode like a hot dog in a microwave that you didn't put fork holes in.
Once it hits a grounded conductor, it actually arcs downward, so it wouldn't have gone through 2 unless it was.
At least it didn't smell like dingleberries. That's all that matters. Callum Lyle says Ezra does fit into James Gunn's DOA vision. They're both attracted to madness and Epstein Island. Well, I don't know about all that, but I'm not getting into that debate.
Unnecessary.
Yeah.
Penalty. Where's my flag? There it is. 5 yards.
Oh, there was a little bit more to Willie's chat here. I didn't read the rest of it. I'm sorry. Guardians of the Galaxy looks great. Transformers look good. Sub to Chato and Film Thread. But say to hell with Midnight's Edge and Culture Casino and Script Doctor.
And forget about Script Doctor.
Yes.
Yeah, that's fine.
I don't think that's what he meant, obviously.
I do. I
know you do.
Whatever Script Doctor is, I want to leech off whatever subscribers he's getting.
And Mr.
Tickle Trunk says, I think current Flash will give long-haired Flash powers, who breaks everything for mom. Note, long-haired kid. Current Barry dies for the reboot. Now you can literally do anything with 0 baggage. You guys think they're going to kill Barry? I don't know.
We shall just
kill
have
one
to
of
wait
them.
and see.
Well, you got Yellow Barry and you've got Red Barry.
You guys are forgetting
you
there's a
also have
third
Blackberry in
Barry.
there, too.
I was going to say there's Blackberry in this too.
Is
Everybody's
there?
forgetting.
Yeah.
Yes. The black one is him too. Oh, spoilers.
You are one unhappy person, Tom.
I don't understand where these great things are coming out of these screenings, because we know what the story is. And I just feel like it's like the Ant-Man trailer all over again when everybody's like, oh, it looks great. I'm like, are you serious? It looks like Ant-Man being replaced by 3 different women. And then what happened when we come out and start hearing shit? Michelle Pfeiffer's front and center.
Yeah.
So like, I can't wait for it. Everybody's gonna be like, oh, it's great. It's it was great watching Supergirl replace Henry Cavill. That was brilliant.
Well, we'll just take it one step at a time.
Okay.
Yeah. Know that this is a one and done film. It's not going to continue anything.
No, I've had this, like, I thought that the Flashpoint story was okay. It had one interesting aspect to it. And Script Doctor and I have had this conversation like 20 times now. So he knows where I'm going with this. The one and only interesting aspect of the Flashpoint story is an alternate universe with the Waynes, where Bruce gets killed as opposed to his parents, and his parents become a dark version of Batman, and his mother becomes the de facto Joker. That is the only interesting aspect of that story, if you ask me. The rest of it is a bunch of Fugazi nonsense because it doesn't make any goddamn sense. That everything would be completely changed or wrapped around one event like this, that would have little to no circumstantial changes in the universe overall. Like, that makes no sense to me.
Yeah, you don't buy the premise of the story, is what you're saying.
Exactly. Like, to me, what is Barry doing what he's doing? Like, even, okay, the stupid static shock bullshit that goes out there, the force shock thing or whatever that does all this stuff that supposedly fucks everything up, is the biggest bunch of nonsense ever.
Oh, you can thank Mark Waid for that. That's part of the Speed Force, which is
that's what I'm saying. That's not the way the Speed Force should work. Okay, like, that's just
be a Speed
dumb.
Force at all. It's the stupidest contribution to the character.
And if you want to do linear time travel, okay, fine, but okay, then it should only matter.
Treadmill to do that. That was what was cool.
Basically, the way things should have gone is, if you really want to go with this, if Barry were to go back in time and stop his mother from being killed, chances are he would never exist as the Flash in the future. So what would happen is
the point of Flashpoint is that.
I know. Well, and that's it. Nothing else would change.
Yeah.
That's my point, is nothing else should change.
But still, within the worldview of the writers, it did. So then one can choose to either accept their premise for the movie or reject the whole movie. You obviously choose to reject the movie, but I think that many people that choose to go along with it without thinking on it that much, just decide, well, go with it based on the trailers. Maybe this will be a fun movie for them.
Yeah.
And I would just like to say, if they didn't make the movie, we wouldn't have this discussion.
That is true.
Well, what I think is hilarious about this whole thing, maybe to kind of shift the topic and then start moving back into super chats and then other trailers, because we've got like 3 or 4 other trailers to discuss.
We got trailers to talk about.
I knew this was going to be the big one anyway. Like, the funny thing is everybody's like claiming that this is copying No Way Home, and I find that hilarious. Because for those who don't actually know the series of events, No Way Home was a reaction to DC saying they were getting Michael Keaton back for the Flashpoint movie. They just got it done and out sooner. That's all.
Yep.
And now they're going to be accused of ripping off No Way Home.
That is the irony, and this is actually something that's like by now has become like a modern day Marvel and DC tradition. DC does something first, Marvel responds to it, but they have the ability to turn around and do everything faster, and then DC looks like the also ran and be copycat. Star example of this: Batman v Superman and Captain America Civil War. Iron Man was in it as a direct response to the movie Batman v Superman. Because those two, they came out in the same year. The irony is that Captain America Civil War kind of did it right and succeeded where Batman v Superman failed. But it only happened that way because of Batman v Superman.
Well, there's no question that Warner's has always felt like a stumbling monster.
Yeah.
Well, don't feel bad, because they got him back in a weird way. I don't even think they realized it until after the fact, and they may not even realize this. I had to point it out.
About who back?
The DC ended up retroactively getting back Disney by Stop or My Mom Will shooting them into making the Eternals.
This is a very, very good point, actually, because the Eternals only, for those that are not aware, the Eternals only came about because it's a Jack Kirby movie, and DC were threatening to do a Jack Kirby movie with the New Gods. Now, of course, their New Gods movie was going to be a complete and total disaster because they had someone completely and utterly unfit attached to it. They had Tom King attached to do the writing, and they had, what's her face again? who in no
I just
way,
said it,
shape-
Ava DuVernay. Yeah.
Thank you, Ava DuVernay, who in no way, shape, or form is qualified to do a New Gods movie. And Marvel, of course, instantly reacted and said, "Oh, wait a sec, okay, we have our Jack Kirby property too, so we're going to do the Eternals, and we're going to find someone who is equally unfit to do a Jack Kirby movie as you guys have." And then the New Gods at Warner completely fell apart, whereas the Eternals actually came out and ruined Marvel.
Yeah. Because Ava, that whole thing didn't come apart. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's exactly what I'm talking about. For those who don't know,
Marvel credit for actually getting movies out. The
that they do.
Incompetence of Warner's is hilarious.
I give them credit on that part, but I think it's funny. For those who don't get the reference, Arnold Schwarzenegger tricked Sylvester Stallone into making Stop or My Mom Will Shoot. That's the reference there. So yeah. For those who don't know. I know that's a real deep dive. Olaf Van S has been a member for 19 months, and he's also a mod. Thank you so much. Says, hey guys, it's Joshua Hammond's birthday. Can you get Bat Tom to sing him happy birthday? It's a little early for Bat Tom. Let me see if he's awake. You awake? Wait. Oh, it's your birthday. I'm not wearing any pants. I hope that's okay. But happy birthday, Josh. Hammonds is the name. Okay. Birthday. How does the song go again? I have it written down usually. I don't know the words. Happy birthday, kid. Happy birthday to you. We're singing you a song, and it's gonna go on till your birthday is through. Happy birthday. Yay. Okay, I'm going back to bed. Fuck you guys.
Very poetic.
Beautiful.
He lost the lyrics. He doesn't remember. You guys got to give him a little leeway on that. It's a lot of words to remember.
It is.
Happy birthday, Joshua. Hopefully you got what you wished for.
Indeed, happy birthday.
Paulus Plain says the Hulk versus Superman. Superman wins all the time. How Superman flies into the sun with the Hulk. Game over. End of story. Is that how he beats him? I guess.
One way that's feasible.
Well, the way to stop them from burning up is if they go at night.
Well, Paul, that's not how the Force works. Here's the thing, though. What if that really just pissed the Hulk off even more?
Being launched into the sun, I think you would have a hard time getting.
I think the Hulk would be defeated by this.
I know. I'm being facetious, obviously. Yeah, just thinking, maybe, just maybe. Oh, we got that one. Okay. Tennille says the only commercial I really enjoyed was the Bush commercial that took the piss out of those please think of the animals PSAs. Not really a game. Yeah, I didn't hear too many people talk up too many of the actual, just not trailers, but commercials themselves. And I think Chris had touched on that a little bit earlier too. But I haven't got a chance.
Bad one was the best.
I mean, what's funny, because wasn't that for that popcorn chip thing? What is it called? The corner
puff.
I tried those. They're fucking nasty. They taste like stale popcorn. Like, these bastards are spending this kind of money to try and push this shit. I feel sorry for them.
Midnight's Edge is obviously not sponsored by those bastards, whoever they were.
Yeah, those things are nasty. I bought one bag one time. I'm like, oh, these look like they'd be interesting. They were like freaking stale. It was like nasty.
You know, I almost choked.
If you like old popcorn. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
I almost choked to death on a bugle once.
You know, it's a good thing they have a hole in the middle that you didn't have to get a tracheotomy.
Yeah. It was really weird.
Well, you should really be eating dogs.
You were breathing through the bugle.
A bugle.
They might not have bugles up in Canada.
Or like these spirally puff treat things that I swear
they're basically like corn puke fried.
Yeah.
I'm not wrong, Culture. What do you think it is? It's like corn paste, basically.
Well, I obviously did not see that spot, and doesn't sound too yummy by the sounds of it.
Popcorners, that's what they're called. It looks like a couple people in the chat like them. I did not. I thought they tasted like stale old popcorn. Like that's what they tasted like to me.
And-
Like,
You know, we were talking about this on Friday that all these ads are kind of co-sponsored ads. You had two different entities doing them. Like Disney teamed up with Heineken, you know, because to do their spot because they
which is funny. It was the non-alcoholic beer, but
yeah, they were so expensive. So I mean, you had just unlikely like people getting together to do commercials for the Super Bowl. I'm like,
Andre, I doubt you saw that spot, but like that's probably funnier than anything that's going to wind up in the end.
No, because like most of like those which aren't for movies, they typically aren't released outside, or they definitely aren't released, but even their YouTube versions more than often and than not are geo-blocked.
Yeah.
And of course, I can get around that with Surfshark, which comes with the feature of allowing you to change your location. So geo-blocking is no problem, but I have to know what to look for.
Right.
And then I have to be asked to sit through random commercials for American products when I have enough with the trailers.
Yeah, I hear you. But yeah, so nothing really stood out this time that I know of that people have been really discussing outside of movie trailer. The movie trailer stood out this time, which I guess that was a win for Warner in this case. I mean, that was their whole plan. And a lot of the studios hadn't been spending that much money on trailers in the last few years on the Super Bowl. So let's grab a few more of these super chats, and then we'll get into a few more of those trailers. Waltman says, let's be real. The real MVP was the Mario Brothers ad. Okay, so this, you know what? Let's jump right off of this real quick because this was a shorter ad, but I think it was the most effective ad of the night outside of the Flash trailer. Now, I'm assuming all you guys saw the trailer for the Mario Brothers thing that came out, the 30 second.
Mario.
Mm-hmm.
Andre, did you get a chance to check it out too?
I did. I think it's this is going to be one of the biggest movies of the year because it's obviously I love teaser trailers. I prefer teaser trailers to full-on theatrical trailers, and my favorite kind of teaser trailers are the ones that don't really show anything from the movie, but that just teases the movie by doing something else entirely, which is what this teaser did. It gave us the in-world commercial for the Super Mario Brothers plumber service. Stroke of genius.
It did more than that, Andre, and the stroke of genius was in more than just the trailer itself, in my opinion. But the fact that they used the 80s cartoon theme, and in that moment they solidified that this wasn't just going to be a hit with kids. I said, because at that moment it went from, kids saying I want to go see the Mario movie to adults seeing that trailer going, we're going to see that movie.
Okay, well, because that's something that went straight over my head because that's
where I was saying they are fucking geniuses
on YouTube.
Yeah, they are fucking geniuses, and that was just right there. You just made sure that every kid who grew up with Mario Brothers to now is going to go see that movie.
Yeah, I mean, you already had the kids today. And if that way you're going to get the adults as well, I mean, this movie is going to be a monster.
I think this movie is going to outperform the early expectations for it. And you've stacked the deck in its favor with Chris Pratt and many of the other things that we've seen and that they've done so far. So I cannot wait. Has anybody been to the website yet to check it out?
No, I thought about calling the number too. I'm sure the number leads to something fun too. I didn't even think of that.
555 number shouldn't lead to anything.
Well, yeah, but you never know nowadays.
It's 556.
I was gonna say I think it's 556 because the 55 was in the middle. I'll have to check again. But yeah, so like I just saw that, and we played that last night on Mead, and the reaction we got from the audience said everything that I needed to know. And that is that yes, this is exactly what they needed to get all the adults on board who may have been kind of on the fence or had no clue it even existed at that point. So I think it did exactly what it needed to do. And outside of the Flash, like I said, I argue it's probably the most effective ad of all last night, and probably guaranteed Mario Brothers is going to make $1 billion now.
I think so too. I think it's going to be one of the biggest movies of the year, and I think it even has a fairly good shot at being the biggest movie of the year, because I don't know that any Marvel movie is going to be able to rival it, Which Marvel movies do we have? We have Guardians of the Galaxy. We have Ant-Man Quantumania coming up in just a couple of days. And then we have the Marvels. I don't know that a single one of those is going to get to $1 billion. Not after Phase 4 basically ruined the Marvel brand. This movie right here, I can see that getting the kind of traffic that gets it to beyond $1 billion, and I don't know too many other movies that can do that. Actually, I think that The Flash might have a shot at it if the movie actually is as fun as the trailer kind of indicates that it could be. I think that has an outside shot at beating or reaching the $1 billion mark. Will it be able to beat Super Mario? That I don't know, but I think between the two of those, you have the contenders for this year.
It's for me, Luigi. If you need service, please text us at the same number you just called, 92955 Mario. That's 929-556-2746. Nothing just about any issues wherever you live. House, condo,
Yep, it works.
mansion.
Cool.
And we'll be sure to text you back.
That's Charlie
right away,
Day.
because at Super Mario Brothers Plumbing, we don't say let's wait. We say let's go. Oh, and check our website, smdplumbing.com. We're still working on it, so
This is the most we
more
got to hear of his
updates to
voice.
come. Bye-bye.
Actually, he doesn't sound too bad as Luigi, actually.
That could
That's
work, yeah.
amazing.
Is that Charlie Day as Luigi?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's
Yeah,
the
that
most we've
works.
gotten to hear of him. Yeah.
That works. I don't like Charlie Day as a general thing, too high energetic.
No,
yeah,
but
it works for
yeah,
that.
it sounded fine. Yeah.
For
These
that
guys
thing,
know
absolutely.
exactly what they're doing. This is hilariously awesome.
Did you text the number, Tom?
I just did now. Yeah.
Okay.
Says, thanks for your interest. The Super Mario Brothers Plumbing, we're family owned and operated business providing white glove plumbing services to Brooklyn and Queens. Please click the link to sign up to get exclusive updates and blah, 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 blah. Yeah.
So good.
Kind of like the John Wick thing, because I keep getting the John Wick things too.
Yeah, I cannot wait for this. I can't wait for this film. Look, like I said, there are two films that I'm interested in: Super Mario Brothers and John Wick. Those are the two that I'm interested in this year.
Well, Super Mario is going to be like the Lego movie, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's going to
Only
be
bigger.
Yeah, I think you're right, Andre. I think, like I said, I think this is going to be a monster. I think it'll easily pass $1 billion. It's going to be weird because this is a true 4-quadrant release. You are going to get everybody at this one. It's going to be good.
Who's releasing this? Is this Universal?
Yeah, through the same company that did the Despicable Me and the Minions and that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Right.
Illumination.
Yeah.
Illumination, yeah.
Illumination, yeah. They haven't had a very good run of it of late.
No, they've really had a rough run. So I think obviously they've been kicking the shit out of Disney.
Disney is losing. It's 4 straight years of Disney losing at the box office to Universal. It's insane.
With little yellow
this
minions.
It's insane. This will be year number 5. It's unbelievable.
What'd you say,
love
Andre?
Universal's approach. It's just commercial.
Yeah.
Commercial product. It's just so refreshing. I never would have thought I would ever say that.
Commercial versus woke. Like, no
Yeah.
wonder that Universal keeps beating Disney at this rate. What I was saying, Tom, is that, and it's not going to change this year, because this year, what we see right here is that Universal has entertaining product. I'll report back on Wednesday how entertaining Ant-Man was. Guardians of the Galaxy has a shot at being entertaining.
Yeah.
But Marvels, that's phase 4 for you right there. That one's going to flatline.
Yep. Yeah. I don't, like I said, I mean, it's win after win for Universal. Not only that, consider this. Disney is the cash cow. Their cash cows in Florida. It's their theme park. There are 4 theme parks located there. That's their biggest cash cow. Disneyland, there's some money there to be sure, but Disney World is where it's at. And you have Universal just stripping market share away, and they're about to do it again when they expand their theme park with Super Mario World, amongst everything else that's going to be added when they add Epic Universe to the mix. It's very dire for Disney. They have abandoned creativity in favor of the political divide.
Not just that, but I think they're saddled with one other thing, which is cultural. And you guys can disagree if you want, but as an animation fan, Disney animation never interested me. I mean, I was fascinated by their technical capabilities. I mean, they have some phenomenal movies, the Wizard one, and they've certainly done some good work, but I've not really found a lot of joy in their animations versus the Warner Brothers Bugs Bunny cartoons, things like that.
Oh, okay.
I know they're a different class of cartoon.
Oh, you're talking the vintage shorts now.
Well, the short, yeah. Actually, you know what? If we just leave it to shorts, compare Disney shorts to Warner Brothers shorts, I never found joy. There was slapstick in the Disney shorts, but not joy. Whereas the Warner Brothers ones had joy. And one of the things that Disney has done really well in their theme parks is translate those characters into a joyous live experience. But I always found that really interesting, where I was never interested in their animation properties as animations, but I really liked what they did with them at the Disney theme parks.
Right.
And
not anymore.
No. Yeah. Well, of course. I mean, I haven't been there lately, but I'm assuming you're right. And that's basically essentially the difference between what Universal is doing with Minions and Groot and all that, is that these are joyous, fun experiences, whereas Disney can't get any joy out of it. Lightyear, was that a joyous Pixar, experience? Look at Toy Story, Toy Story 1 and 2, joy. Monsters Inc., joy. Yeah. That's just not part of their culture, that little joy component. They don't know what it is.
It's funny
I
you
would
say that because I'm not even...
Oh, go ahead. Yeah, sorry, carry on, Tom.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say that I would say there was plenty of joy in the vintage shorts made from the late 20s up until the late 1950s, like most of which were overseen by either Walt Disney and later Ward Kimball and others. Plenty joy in those. Like if you prefer Bugs Bunny, I won't begrudge you of that at all, because those were fantastic too. I think that's that I think is a matter of individual preference, what one determines to be most joyful. But that the magic that there was, that's irrefutably long since gone by now.
Yeah, if you're talking about the pre-Warner Brothers, I can see that. But the Warner Brothers era had Donald Duck, which I had no interest in. I had no interest in Goofy, Pluto. I just thought I was all stupid.
Well, it's funny because I was just going to say, I mean, I don't know about the slapstick part of Disney, but I was going to say more of the family element or safe element. Because outside of, like, obviously Steamboat Willie, which everybody remembers just because.
Right.
And the camping episode, or the camping short with Mickey and stuff with the camper and all that kind of stuff. There's a few of those that I randomly remember. Outside of that, the only ones I do kind of remember offhand are generally Goofy, when he, the Wild World of Goofy shorts. Those are always pretty memorable. And there's one that's not even related to the main Disney characters, and it was I can't remember the bear's name, but he's a bear. And he's
he came in the 1950s with a bunch of Donald shorts.
Yeah, there's a couple of those that are pretty memorable.
I have all of them because
I'd love it if you send me those, because the one I've been looking for forever is where he's picking up the garbage, because it used to be on a Silly Symphonies video. And that's the thing, Paula, which is hilarious, is that Merry Melodies started out as a parody of Silly Symphonies, right? Yeah. And then and then that morphed into Looney Tunes eventually. And you're right, though. To me, like, Looney Tunes was a completely different animal, to where they were finely tuned to the point where they would reuse certain gags and jokes until they worked correctly. Like, even if you knew you've seen this shit before, like, there's a reason why we have 3 different versions of the duck season, rabbit season.
Yeah,
sure. Like, they would beat the hell out of a joke, but we remember each and every one of them because they were still ingenious because of the guys behind it.
Well, it's also a very vaudevillian thing.
Yeah, exactly. They're very vaudevillian compared to Disney's shorts too, which were more about like Walt was always like, what can I show off with animation? What can I do? Because 9 times out of 10, a lot of his shorts were testing shit for whatever he was working on next movie wise, right? Because a lot of those earlier shorts fed into the basically the research and development for Snow White.
That's exactly right.
and fed into research and development for Pinocchio and so on down the road. So yeah, basically he was kind of more of like the George Lucas before George Lucas of his time.
no,
Built the
question.
animation. Modern animation was built by Disney, and it wasn't just Walt Disney himself. It was the team around him. It was one guy in particular. What was his name again?
Well, they invented the multi-plane camera. I mean,
That's the one.
Inventions.
Yeah,
you're right. He was the George Lucas, Cameron of his era.
Basically, yeah.
Basically, and he tried to leave Disney at one point and do his own things, and the things that he did were amazing. But he didn't have Walt Disney's charm and charisma. So Disney could replace this guy with another animator. But this guy, what's his name again? Couldn't replace Disney's charm and style. Yes, Ub Iwerks. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. Thank you. Ub Iwerks. That's what I'm talking about. But Disney was luckily enough hired him again after he failed on his own. So he came back to Disney, and between the two of them, they were the ones that pushed Disney forward. And so Ub Iwerks, he absolutely was the George Lucas and the ILM of animation.
Because Looney Tunes was not about pushing that tech at all. They didn't give a shit. It was all about how do we tell the joke.
Yep. They were the jazz of cartooning.
Pretty much. And I loved them for it. Like, and they would, like I said, they would just keep trying shit until it worked. Like, how many different versions of Bugs Bunny did we get before it finally? They even put the same voice to a completely different character just to test to see if it was the voice.
Yeah.
For those who don't know.
You had the Chuck Jones version, and then you had the Avery era. You had eras basically
yes.
In Warner Brothers Animation.
Yep.
I met Chuck Jones.
Did you?
Yep, really.
That's cool.
Guy. Yeah,
he seems like it. He would have been.
He was a really.
He's actually in Gremlins as well. Plays himself.
Well, he's dead now.
I know he's sadly gone, but yeah. Tiberius Mononoke sends in £10. Thank you so much. Says Flash looks hyper reshot like Justice League, so the cinematography doesn't match scene to scene. Batfleck's suit quickly cobbled together, poorly conceived Flash shooting VFX. More DCEU fail. Yeah, I have to see it. But we know there's been how many rounds of reshoots for this movie now? At least 3 that we know of.
We are at least on the 3rd round right now. Yeah.
Wow.
At least on the 3rd round. Then it was always different things. Yeah, I said at least 3. That does not rule out that we're actually on the 4th round of reshoots now.
Yeah. The problem is the distinction between reshoots and pickups and everything else. But regardless, they've gone in multiple times for multiple weeks of reshooting on this film, and so this is a wonderful analysis. It is very
over multiple years too. That's
yes, exactly. Yeah, so you're going to have a very, very different non-fluid quilt of film here, to be sure. I would believe, and it is what it is. I have very low expectations for this, as I've told everybody last night in multiple places. I will be seeing the film begrudgingly. I'm going to walk in with as open a mind as is possible with the knowledge that I have, and I'll give an honest assessment of it. But, sometimes when you take things a step at a time, you find yourself falling off of a cliff. So I don't want that to happen to me. I'm not going to go in unprepared for that. I'm going to look at it with eyes wide open and be like, okay, I'm at the theater, I'm walking in here, but my expectation bar is set rather low. So
Mistletoe brings up a point here that is poignant. With all the reshoots, changes in the effects might actually not be final. That could be the case, but chances are a lot of the reshoots had little to do with any action sequences, is what I'm thinking. So most of that stuff has been in the works now since 2018-19 when they started shooting this thing to now, because they've had plenty of time to work on this damn thing.
And besides, how many times do we hear that excuse that the special effects aren't finished in the trailer? Actually, no, they're finished up for the trailer. They'll just be finished up in a slightly different way in the final movie, but very rarely will they be any better in the final movie?
See Wonder
More
Woman
often
84.
than not. Yeah, more often than not. What you see on the screen in the trailer, that's pretty much what you're going to get in the movie.
Because, yeah, there were some effects in that movie that were worse than what I remember being in the trailer. Mexican Iron Man sends a $9.99. How you doing, buddy? Says there are literally 4 times the number of Hispanics than blacks folks in the country. I just want to know why in the hell I didn't see a mariachi and some salsa music before the Super Bowl.
Well, and especially in Arizona, right? I mean, you would anticipate demographically that, you know, you get some of that.
You'd think so, but
when are we getting Mexican History Month?
I don't know. Look, there's only one race you can't do a month for.
White people. And guess what, Mike? You're white adjacent.
Yeah. I've seen your birth certificate, Mike.
Well, he's more than white adjacent.
Yeah.
Mama Mexican Iron Man made sure that he
got
had a leg up and got all the white privilege. He got an upgrade. That's according to him. It's according to him. Your Muslim uncle has been a member for 22 months at the Midnighter level. That's almost 2 years now. Thank you so much. Ben Dowdy has been a member for 2 months and gifted 5 Midnight's Edge memberships. Thank you so much, Ben Dowdy. In fact, we're going to hope to have what we'll call an international member stream here soon. It's where we switch up the time a little bit and hope that some of the other members who don't normally get a chance to join us get to join in. But we'll have more info on that soon. I think we're going to try and shoot for that later this week or this weekend is the plan.
Yeah,
but
it is. We'll get back to you regarding exact time, but it's coming, and it's coming very, very soon.
Indeed. And Swords and Starship says, I've been, yeah, that's what he wrote. I've had so much fun watching yours and similar content over the year. I now find the scripted, phony format of cable and network TV intolerable. Part of why I started my channel, Hail Film Threat. Well, thank you so much, Sword and Starships. And sorry I didn't get this in before Chris had to leave, but I'm sure he appreciates the shout out there for Film
We'll make
Threat.
sure that he gets the shout out. We always
Absolutely. Do. Mr. Tickle Trunk says Canada follows the USA. We'll tag along eventually. Well, let's see. And did these come in? Yeah, these came in after Chris left. Sorry about that, guys. I know there's a little bit of delay, but we'll hold on to this one for the next time he's around too. But Dear Juan sends in €5 and says, Chris, there are no woke ads because the woke went broke. Well, that's part of it. And I was trying to get in there when we were talking about that. I'm like, remember, that's where the Gillette ad aired. Was at the Super Bowl, and how badly that worked out for them.
It cost them nearly $1 billion.
I thought it was multiple billions.
Probably. I mean, that was like the what they could directly attribute, but
that was
maybe
a terrible ad.
That was indirect.
That was just embarrassing.
That was the most earned loss of money ever, and I do believe that it's after that it's very, very unfair to call our specific timeline of Clown World the Gillette timeline. Because it was simply that bad. So yeah, and then let's see what else we have here. Moving on with the super chats, we have Tom. You got the next one.
Let's see here. We have a member chat from Dark King who says, Chato, any idea or any chance, of retrospective on You Can't Do That on television? Not sure they could do something similar today. Do you remember that show, Paul?
Yeah, sure. It was a kid's show. It was fun. I if I do it, then I won't get any subs at all.
I would love you to do retrospective on that. I love that show.
Oh, really? How?
I did see that.
To Norway?
Actually, we had it again. It wasn't in Norway directly, but it was on the Children's Channel, TCC, and for a few years there in the early 90s, we did have that, and I really enjoyed it. And then I saw how old it was, and I was like, oh, like
it's old.
Like that's what I noticed. I was like, oh, like the the hosts that I kind of like had a crush on at the time who looked my age, they were like, oh, they're old women by now in reality.
I thought it was a very innovative show. It was, and it had a great title.
Yeah.
Yep.
It absolutely did. So yeah,
And it was well filmed for a TV show in Canada, because there's people I remember like watching in the 90s that people had no idea it was shot many years earlier, because it looked good, too good for a Canadian television show.
It was a great idea. It was a great premise, and a real kids show premise. The way it really reflected the anarchic mind of a child.
Yeah, and the disgusting cook in that show was funny as as hell.
Yeah, my other favorite kids show was I think it was a British show where a guy would take a whole bunch of pants and poles and things like that, and then turn them into this giant flat 3D art. Huge. It would be a huge, like 20 foot by 20 foot piece that he would slowly wrinkle stuff together and throw it down. He had no idea until the camera pulled out and showed that it was like the head of a football player or something. It was really neat.
Then Dark King had more. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say, you can't do that on television. You mentioned the disgusting chef person. That was Barf. B-A-R-F. That was the name.
That's right. Wow. Good job.
I don't remember his name, but I remember him.
And then Dark King adds a little bit more to that and says, also, does Mr. Chato like Hungarian salami? Hot Hungarian salami.
This is Mrs.
Wink,
Chato.
wink, nudge, nudge. Oh, Mrs. Chato.
Yeah, I think this is. Yeah.
I need to learn how to read.
Well, there's a cooked Hungarian salami that I basically have to have the entire family leave the house for half the day. It's liver and blood sausage called hurka.
That actually reminds me, Chato. Have you seen the movie? It's a Hungarian movie, the great Hungarian movie, Taxidermia.
No.
Oh, you have to see it.
Okay.
You have to see that movie.
Taxidermia.
Taxidermia. Yes, you have to see it. I would love to see you review on it. At least tell me what you think about it. It is glorious.
Okay. Well, I mean, I can tell you that Ramon and family will not let me cook hurka in the household.
I can also tell you that Ramon and family probably won't like that movie, but I would love to hear your thoughts on it.
Is it gross?
Well,
I guess it's taxidermy, right?
I'm just saying I would love to hear your thoughts on it.
I'll try to.
But I'm just telling you so that you'll still talk to me in the future.
Oh, no, Andre, I will always talk with you.
Yeah.
Just not the rest of us. OC Gigan says, Culture, did you check out the Frosk interview? Saw it 3 times, and I don't dislike her anymore. Seemed honest and genuine. Check it out on Culturescape. If it's the one I think you're talking about, it seemed like she was trying to pass the buck to me.
It is the one that I did the most recent Frosk editorial on. Culture. Did you see the full interview?
You know, OC Goggins, since you presented that to me last night, I have done 2 live shows and a video. I haven't had a chance to check it out, but I will, and I'll give you my feedback then. Thank you for the $4.99 super chat, but I will look into it for sure. Indeed. So.
Yeah. And I have actually, I haven't seen all of it, but I have seen most of it. You know what I see right there in that thing? I see someone with borderline personality disorder that she has admitted to have, who has turned the charm on for the cameras, and she's in a safe environment where she won't be triggered and she won't be asked any tough questions, where she gets to put the smile on, and she gets to do the manipulative routine. This is the same way how Amber Heard was able to bag Johnny Depp and everything. What you're watching there, it may seem credible, but you're watching a performance. It's my take on it, at least.
Indeed. And then we have Marksman 117B who says, if it was in the USA, we would have blown up The Rock. Yeah. There, now there's nothing to fucking fight over.
Problem solved.
Yeah. Snail Messiah has been a member for 21 months as a Midnighter, also on the verge of being a 2-year member. Dark King, is video piracy in Norway called video Viking? Would it be
Actually,
Vikening?
we have so many different words for piracy and crime of all kind of sorts. But piracy, we actually call piracy too, only like the Norwegian version of it, like pirat. But yeah, so no, the Viking we have reserved for the Vikings. Then we have a bunch of other terms like reaver and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Mark711-7B says, Paul, do you plan to restart the whiskey war and conquer the other half of Hans Island? Never leave a job half done when dealing with the Danes.
Well, yeah, I think our rye whiskey was no match for their schnapps, and we lost it. That stuff is dangerous.
It's pretty potent.
Yeah,
Callum Lyles,
and it's good on ice.
It is. Callum Lyle says, no, that was Superman. He carried him in her arms. I looked.
She carried him? The only person that carried anything in the trailer was Guardians of the Galaxy.
No, actually, this is true. I watched the trailer in complete frame to frame to frame to frame, and I thought the same thing for a moment. I thought it was shirtless Clark like he was in the Justice League. But when I paused and zoomed in closer, he's wearing tennis shoes, and I'm pretty sure it's Barry. Pretty sure. So, I mean, I'm not saying Cavill's not in the film because we know he's shot plenty of stuff for the film that we don't know what's gonna wind up in there or not. But yeah, I'm 80% sure that was Barry and not.
I'm pretty sure that whatever he filmed is going to be cut for it, because remember, the whole purpose of this movie during principal photography was to wipe Henry Cavill out of existence without ever even showing him. And then it was only later when he, for a moment there, was planned to have a larger role in the future that he filmed some scenes when this movie was supposed to set up a new future, a different one than it originally was. And then Gunn came in and everything changed again. I would not be surprised if any scenes with Henry Cavill has been taken out, along with so many other things that we're supposed to build for the future. For the future that is no longer happening.
I think that's the case. And with that, for a moment, we're going to take just a quick break here to let Culture plug his channel and wares so he can get out of here because he's got things to do. But we appreciate you stopping by, my friend. What's going on with you?
Let's see. Well, the channel, we do the 6-minute daily on the weekdays. We do overtime on Tuesdays and Thursdays now, since there's no Midnight's Edge in the morning. And that usually gives us another little bit of time to talk about whatever's happening for the day, or the main subject that we usually don't get to focus on. With my editor out this week, it looks like I'll be editing my own videos, so there'll be fewer of those this week. And hopefully some, a little bit different view, let's just put it that way, than what you would normally get. Beyond that, I just want to say thanks. Your support for everybody on this channel is wonderful. Plus, the support I get from this channel is incredible. And I would like to redirect your attention to Call Me Chato. Paul, his channel specifically, he is set up for a milestone. So let's make sure he makes it.
Thank you. You're very sweet.
Yeah. And on that note, I am out of here. Thanks, gentlemen. Have a wonderful day.
Take care. Have a safe trip.
Thanks for joining us.
I'm following Culture.
I know you're going to be following because we got a couple more here for you. I don't think we have any for you necessarily. Script 6, double check on that. We got that 70s rock fan who says, Paul, I would love to do a Bill Forsyth tribute show with you sometime. A good writer and director, much overlooked.
Okay. Yeah, I'm in.
All right. There you go.
Some of the best. I don't know what happened to him. Yeah, he did an big American movie.
Here's one.
And then he kind of disappeared.
Yeah.
He did the Ice Cream Wars, and then which was called Comfort and Joy.
Mm-hmm.
A brilliant movie. And then Gregory's Girl. I mean, wow. Just unbelievably local, funny. It's the kind of films that in theory you could make in Canada, but just no one seems to be able to do it.
Yeah, I mean, he's a Scottish filmmaker, if I'm not mistaken, and has some good Scottish humor to it. The having fun with the mundane.
One of the challenges in Canada is, well, again, in the United States too, is that we're not an ethnocentric society. We are, so many different peoples. It's you could do a very funny show in Newfoundland because it's quite an ethnocentric enclosed island of people. I did stand up there and I killed only because the jokes were so easy to come by. But when when you're in downtown Toronto and your audience is
from everywhere,
and condo dwellers with no sense of humor at all, who are in the banking industry, it's a tough go. So, not that the Germans are making better stuff, although Dark was brilliant. I'd love it if Canada could make a show like Dark.
And then we got one here from Warrior of Justice for Script Doctor and Andre and Bat Tom and Culture, but he just left. I'm sorry, I didn't see this before. I already grabbed it.
Go forth and multiply myself.
But he had to run. Sorry about that. Only if he is trying to promote himself anyway. And Paul, who I wish he can go forth and multiply himself. Oh yeah,
yes.
Yeah, we do need Paul Chatos in the world.
Oh, you're very sweet.
More of them would be great. Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, Paul, you have to have your mechanic son start his own YouTube channel before long here.
He is starting one. He's rebuilding engines, but just collecting footage.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's a very funny name for the channel. I can't remember it, but yeah, he'll do something. He's pretty cool.
Is it called like Taking the Pistons?
No,
that's the name right there.
That's a good one.
Just gave him the name.
It's more along the lines of I wish I knew earlier. Something like that.
That fits right with the title, Talking Pistons.
Yeah, Taking the Pistons.
Taking the Pistons. The God Dictator of South Africa says, script. Where's my public domain Canadian bond?
What version do you want? Do you want like novel? Because I can do a novel a lot easier than I can do a TV show or a film, because Canada doesn't like to spend money on things like for the arts.
But yeah, we were talking about this the other day, how there's this kind of loophole through Canada that bond is technically public domain there, but yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, also not like Ian Fleming has a lot of close ties to Canada, in addition to the fact that he's one of the architects of what is now known as the CIA. And they were all trained at Camp X up here in Ontario at the time. This is right after the Second World War.
So before we lose you guys here, real quick, what was your reactions to the other trailers? Anything stuck out to you? Guardians of the Galaxy? There was the Transformers, Fast X, I believe. Was there?
I've never been a Fast X fan. I didn't care. And the Guardians just felt no different from the last one. It's not making me any more excited about it. There was a bit more human interaction, some human gags between, I can't remember the name of the women. Galaxia and
Nebula and Gamora.
Yeah, Nebula and Gamora, which both of them sound like female disorders. And or venereal diseases. Anyway, yeah. So I mean, I we'll see. I mean, I'm certainly interested in how that's going to work. Fast and Furious, like I said, I don't care. I've never seen a single one. Don't care.
Script.
Interested in the Mario Brothers one. Have total apathy for anything Fast and Furious. Because neither of those films to me, they don't appear very fast or furious, just silly and ridiculous. I'm curious with Guardians of the Galaxy. I think there might be a charm to it that's continuing on what we saw with the first two films. Didn't even see the Transformers trailer, and also I haven't seen anything Transformers since Bumblebee, which I enjoyed. I don't think they're going in that direction, or at least they haven't.
They are not, unfortunately.
The trailer I saw was really dumb. It basically is Bumblebee 2.0 with a Mexican kid.
Okay.
And a totally different robot. That's the trailer they showed. It's the same fucking story as Witwicky and Bumblebee, only with a new kid and a new robot.
Oh, is the new robot a Winnebago or something?
It's Mirage.
Yeah, and what stood out to me in general with all the trailers is that there were few. I thought there were very, very few. And Tom, you warned of this by basically saying that this is going to be another year with comparatively few big releases. And that's my main takeaway here, is that we have so many fewer trailers to talk about than we had 3-4 years ago before the lockdowns. And what there was, not all of it was, like the most impressive ones we have talked about. I agree that Guardians of the Galaxy, that could be good. Beyond that, who knows? Then we have Valentine's Tube, who says for $2, movies, blue color correction needs to die. Hate it. Paul, this one maybe aimed at you a little bit. What say you about the color, the prevalence of the color blue, especially like when blue color correction and the timing? Are you a big fan of it?
Are you talking about the teal look?
Yeah, I'm guessing the teal, orange and teal.
Yeah, it's
in
tiresome.
posters and just teal in movies.
It's tiresome. I'm getting tired of the extra clean look of movies.
You mean the digital washed out look, like the soap opera thing, or
it's just things are. It's
the darker, like the blacks aren't proper in most modern movies now. I've noticed that they don't nail it.
And because they can shoot with such low light, everything is underlit, and it hurts my eyes.
Yeah, everything is either underlit or so overlit to the point where there isn't any shadow, and it looks like a camcorder footage at a not camcorder.
And everybody's favorite technique is to just have backlight. People with their heads against a window, with almost no light on their face.
Yeah, I that was one of the things of cinematography school where you're told you have to light the actor. You're not lighting the
not anymore.
The actor. Not anymore. Yeah.
Not anymore. It's crazy. Anyways. Oh, by the way, I muted myself and watched the trailer to Taxidermia. Oh my God. It looks
have to see that movie.
Spectacular.
You have to see that movie. It's a masterpiece. It really is. It's like a generational saga. The theme is about obsession and what each of 3 generations of the family is obsessed with.
And fat people.
That's the middle generation.
It looks very well shot.
It is. There's even a reference to Norway in it.
There's the connection. Okay, I have to get going.
I look forward to talking some taxidermia with you, my friend.
I will look it up to see where I can find it. And it allows me to practice my Hungarian.
Exactly. So perfect.
Köszönöm szépen.
Thanks for joining us today. It was a pleasure to have you on as always. Looking forward to seeing you again on Wednesday. Yep. Meantime, everyone check out Call Me Chato. Link is in the description. Anything you want to plug in particular?
Not right now. I got some interesting things coming up. Things I'm very excited about. What can I say? I'm just, stuff is coming into my head, and I got to do it.
And we are all better off for it.
I do it because I need to. I'll talk to you later, everyone. Bye, everyone.
You do it because it must be done.
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
Bye, Paul.
And yeah, Mega Wing Zero script. Are you going to DC with an Icon script?
No comment.
Okay.
I can't. I'm going to DC. I'm going to go to Warner Brothers the moment California lets people in, without immoral ID requirements.
Yeah, exactly. Let us in kind of as we are, without any kind of alterations.
Stamp my passport, let me in, and I'm good to go. If you ask for anything more, that's not cool.
Yeah, exactly. Same thing as we are in the same boat. You and me and quite a few others. So yeah, we'll just have to see when that will be. Then we have some more member chats here. Grimzilla has been a member for 10 months, saying, Humphrey the Bear is the character, Tom. I'm just glad Disney is burning and Don Bluth is still alive to watch it happen. Yes, indeed. Tom had to step out for a moment, but we have learned that it is indeed Humphrey the Bear. But thanks for pointing that out. Tommy Reviews says for $5, I'm cautious. Flashpoint comic gave us New 52. It'll be ironic if Gunn's universe is great. Yeah, it has better be. With some of his more questionable decisions, he has better find a way to make it work.
He's got to deliver, yeah. And
yeah.
the other part too is the statistically. I mean, it's more likely that anything Gunn does with his new DC slate will have zero connections to what we already saw. Like the two TV shows that he's doing, they're already in production and they're coming out months before, and will wrap months before the Superman comes out. And I don't think we'll be seeing those actors in those roles again afterwards.
Yeah. And then we actually have a multi-chapter saga here from my countryman, Paulus Plain. Who begins with Act 0, The American Way History. Please, Americans, I love history. Truth, justice, and the American way. Superman. What does the American way mean?
That's a good question, because the American way was added to the Truth and Justice slogan by George Putnam Ludlam, who wrote the radio serials. And it was added when the United States officially entered World War II as part of the pro-war propaganda at the request of the War Department, the U.S. War Department. And what was very funny is that, and I got to speak to veterans from the Second World War at the time that remembered it vividly, is that they thought Truth and Justice was the American way. So when they heard it, they laughed because they're like, what, Truth, Justice, and Truth and Justice? It's redundant. But it stuck for a few years and didn't come back till the 50s and then went away and then didn't come back until Christopher Reeves said that line in 78.
Yeah. And I will say that some things are so important, they are worth saying twice.
There's that too, yeah.
Yeah. And then Paulus Plain continues. Act 1, Declaration of Independence, Revolutionary War, The Trail of Tears, Bleeding Kansas, Civil War, Blues, and the Rise Jim Crow. Before continuing with Act 2, World War I, Jazz, Prohibition, Speakeasy, Wall Street Cash, Action Comics Issue 1, June 1938. That's Superman for you, the debut of Superman, and the sequel, World War II. It's a really nice summary of history right here. Act 3, Cold War, Rock and Roll, Korean War, Vietnam, Free Love, Woodstock, Watergate.
I love this Billy Joel song.
Medical Bankruptcy, Gulf War I, and the sequel, Gulf War II, War on Terror.
Oh, wait, it's not that song. Never mind.
Yeah, and then he continues with Act 4. Thank you all Americans cuisine, barbecue brisket, Cajun, Creole, soul food, clam chowder, cheeseburger, and milkshake. Yeah,
now he's just making me hungry.
Yeah, me too, a little bit. So yeah, thanks for that, and a really good summary of American history right there.
South Pacific, Bolter Richard. Act 5, thank you all Americans, music, blues, jazz, rock and roll, and country.
Country?
Yeah, you know country music.
Start the fire.
Is that good music?
Hey, the old stuff was. Nowadays, it's just basically pop crap. But yeah,
I can admit that the old stuff was good. Yeah, because
like you go back in the day, like everything from Hank Williams Sr. through Hank Williams Jr. Pretty much, yeah.
Devil's Back in Georgia rules. And you can take
no, there's actually some '90s stuff I dig quite a bit. I mean, there was a point there where country was better than most pop music, and then country became pop music. It was like, oh, okay.
I blame Shania Twain.
You're not wrong. She was the scream. And between her and Billy Ray Cyrus were the screams of country music to make it to that
mean, like,
point where it was like, yeah.
Any Man of Mine, that was pure country, wasn't it?
Yes, but not Man, I Feel Like a Woman.
Yeah, no. And then
you are on point. You're exactly on point. Like between those two songs is exactly correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it didn't help that Garth Brooks was constantly crossing over too at the time, but yeah. But anyhow, yes, a very
music needs to happen.
A very succinct history there. Well, we already have Meat Radio, but yeah. Mecca J says the movie should have been called The Flash: Escape from Development Hell. No shit, right? I mean, it really wasn't in development hell so much as shelved hell for the longest time.
Well, it was production hell, more accurately.
Or production hell.
Hell, I got to go to a meeting soon, so I'll have to pop out, guys.
It doesn't sound good.
Thanks so much for letting me hang out with you and everyone in the chat. I hope you have a wonderful day. Stick around, guys, because there's still more super chats to cover. And I won't be seeing much of any of you tomorrow because it's Valentine's Day, but I'll see you after that. And have a good one.
All right, have a great Valentine's Day. I hope that the future Miss Grip Doctor will be or your girlfriend, I should say, that she's going to be.
We don't know where she's going.
Awesome. Yeah,
exactly. Thanks so much, gentlemen. Take care. Bye.
Take care.
Script. Yes, production hell script would be correct on that. And then we got the God King dictator of South Africa. So did Gillette do another toxic masculinity ad? No, I don't think Gillette did an ad at all this year. From what?
No, but they should if they could afford it.
Oh, they've totally reversed on a lot of their old shit.
I know it would be just hilarious if they did, just to relive the good old days of the audience or their customers just fleeing from them. I don't think they've recovered still.
No. And we got Callum Lyle says, I'm scared. Were those balloons they shut? I think it means shot down. Because now this showed footage of this tadpole thing and I'm really scared.
Yeah, okay. Callum, I get that you're scared. All I can tell you is watch the movie Wag the Dog. This ain't nothing but a live-action remake of that.
Kind of, sort of. Yeah.
This is distraction.
Yeah. C-Man says, you know who built Joy? Slaves. Well, they built everything. So you got to remember that. Marks 47 has been a member for 22 months as a Midnighter. Thank you so much. Another one on the verge of being 2-year member. Bass player 2011 Iffy says, in my honest opinion, the best thing Chuck Jones gave us was Wile E. Coyote and the Roadrunner shorts. A cartoon governed by 9 simple rules. Well, yeah. Like he basically took, how do I put this? The idea of the whole cat and mouse thing, which has been around since the beginning of cartoons, right? You know, Tom and Jerry, all that business. And simplified it down to its core roots in a way that you don't have to translate them, that it works for any age level, and it has an endless chance of possibilities, right? Like, because Wile E. Coyote will never run out of things to order from the Acme catalog. You know what I mean? Like it's just, you can just keep doing them until the end of time, and you could probably copy a few from before, but yeah, exactly. Governed by 9 simple rules. Yes. And it's translatable so easily. That's the other part.
Yeah.
Thought Andre would have something to say to that, considering he's a foreigner, but yes, there you go.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I like those things are classics. Like I even grew up on all those shorts, the Warner shorts, the Wile E. Coyote, and the Disney shorts. I freaking love them all, and especially these ones. And what Chuck Jones did will outlive us all. At least I hope.
I don't think they have to translate. Do they?
No, that one translates extremely easily. Like it's pretty universal. It's universal for everyone across any culture. Everyone will get it. Even if we do not have those animals. Like I've never seen a roadrunner in my life, like being an actual like bird. I just came to think of it. I have no idea what it looks like.
Funnily enough, that's one of the few of the Looney Tunes characters that actually is pretty close to what the animal looks like.
Yeah,
but it's just too big.
But it doesn't matter. You get it. You can like substitute it with like any local animal to so yeah, it's completely translates perfectly. And also, since we are on the topic of them, ActionCom just asked us this right now.
Yeah.
Have you seen the latest Wile E Coyote cartoon?
Depends on which one it is. I saw one from a couple years back.
Are they not like releasing them like now recently? I think they're like making.
There's some HBO
right
Max.
now.
Yeah, well, has been making some in some other places, but I haven't seen any of the newer ones outside of the 3D one from a couple years back. That was like the newest one I saw.
Yeah,
which it just worked just like it always did. I don't even think they did anybody to do any new voice. I think they just used Mel Blanc going meep meep. So like yeah.
I think I saw the.
Actually, I think there was always debate whether or not that was ever Mel Blanc because he was always contractual, but it didn't necessarily mean he did it.
Yeah. If there's any newer than that, and I do believe there's newer than that, my answer is no. I have not seen it. I do not think that they're going to be as good though, specifically because of the writing. The writers at the time when these cartoons were made, in the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, and for most shorts, the Disney shorts, the real classic ones, even before then, like the highlight or the heyday was like from the late 1930s up till the mid 1950s. That was like the
well, you basically have the TV transition. Is what you have.
Exactly. Yeah, and like they were true masters of that craft. They created the science behind it. They nailed it to perfection. And I don't think that modern day writers that don't come from that school, that come from like the more vogue school of writing, I don't think that they are able to do the same thing. So I don't think that you'll ever be.
They're taught none of this shit because it's all problematic and it comes from problematic white men. That's
exactly. Yeah.
And to do that would be totally against everything they're teaching. So unfortunately, a lot of these students nowadays are probably not getting the education they should be getting, even in these kind of classes. Like, let's not even get into all the other stuff like history and everything else. Like, yeah. But Rod makes an excellent point here. They're full of shit because the Coyote can run almost 3 times as fast as a fucking Roadrunner. Yeah. Not only that, the real Roadrunner is tiny. I mean, yeah, coyotes are like smaller dogs, but still, like the real Roadrunner is like really small in comparison to what they make it look like. That's the only thing in the cartoon that really.
So basically, same thing as the Velociraptor, which is like this huge thing in the Jurassic Park movies, but
in real life, they're like 4 foot long.
Yeah,
they were like 4 to 6 feet long is the biggest ones. Yeah, as far as the ones that they use in the movie, that they make like 8 to 10 feet long in the movie. Yeah. But then again, they had what's-his-face Wong or whatever say in the one movie. They made the dinosaurs look that way because that's what you expected, right? Like,
exactly. So, which I thought was just stroke of genius to say.
One of the few good things to have in that movie, yeah. To get around the science, basically.
Yeah.
Because we had so many, we had a lot of changes in the last 20 years as far as that kind of stuff, not to get down that path. But yeah, like you have debates on did they have feathers, how many feathers they had, and all this kind of crap that you got people in the community arguing left and right on how extensive that whole thing is. So yeah. Marcus says, does someone remember the dinosaurs? Speaking of dinosaurs, that was fun. Yes. A very ambitious TV show for Disney at the time and ABC television that ran only 1 season, I believe. If not, was it a couple seasons?
I do know it was 1 season. I do remember it. That actually was on in Norway and in Sweden and Denmark because it was on like TV3, which is like one channel that was like a sponsorship between 3 countries. And yeah, it was on there. So I do remember it. I also remember it had like this really depressing ending because because
they all die.
The meteor cometh.
Yeah, the meteor cometh. Well, I think they knew the show was done for, so they're like, fuck it, we're gonna go all out with a bang. Literally. Because I'm sure that was always the planned ending to begin with, but it was and I said ambitious, and that's why the show did okay with the ratings. It was just basically like, here's the thing: all the guys who made the Ninja Turtle movies, they worked on that show, so you were basically running production like a Ninja Turtle movie every show. It was a nightmare, and not only that, they had more than the Ninja Turtles if you think about it, because they had like 6 or 7 main characters on screen all the time. in comparison.
Something like that. That's like it was the puppetry and the
That's what I'm
costume
saying. Yeah.
made it ambitious. Yeah.
And the same team went from Ninja Turtles to that, and then so like I said, and then you multiplied the amount of people you had to work on it because there's more characters. So yeah, it was a huge, ambitious undertaking for Henson Company and Disney at the time. But it's one of those shows I hope at some point gets some kind of update. I don't know if they shot it on video or not. That's a good question too to ask. I think it was shot on film.
I
So
think it
hopefully
was
someday.
shot on film but edited on video, like
But-
most of those things. So to get
You
like
never
an
know.
HD version of it, chances are you'd have to do like Star Trek Next Generation, basically
Well, some of these are kind of doing them with. So we'll see here because for the streaming they need them in HD because people complain.
Yeah, as
So-
well they should, because that inspires it, and then if they deem it profitable to do the upgrade, then so much the better.
Yes, and then the same group went on to Farscape, as pointed out in the chat by Robad Mason, I think is what it's supposed to be, but yeah. Cliff 313 or 318, 88 says Disney was good at cartoons that focused on a single character. Looney Tunes was good at two characters cartoons. My favorite was Ralph and Sam the Sheep.
You're not
Sheepdog.
wrong. You're not wrong.
Well, and not only that, they were good at. It's usually like Disney's thing was, you're right, and not just either a single character or a single motive, right? To where the Looney Tunes, it was usually two conflicting motives. And sometimes you could even argue that some of the like Daffy and or Donald and Chippendale cartoons were pretty much rip-offs of like Bugs and Elmer and stuff like that in a lot of ways too sometimes. But no, I think you're correct with this take, and Andre seems to agree with you. Sorry.
Yeah, absolutely. And also the Chip and Dale ones were my personal favorite ones. But, yeah, that's just me.
No, they just took a formula that already had worked for Tom and Jerry and for Elmer and Bugs and just gave it to those guys.
They
as
were
well.
able to learn from each other. So like one did the innovations, everyone else learned from that, and the whole genre progressed from there. There was no reinventing the wheel. Once it was learned, which is
Pretty
brilliant.
much.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we have Michael Carney, who's been a member for 3 months. Thank you so much. Speaking of members, we also have Griffin with the Grimace, who's been a member for 14 months at the Edgelord level. It says, any earlier scheduled streams for those of us in Australia audience section is appreciated. I can't keep up with the Midnight's Edge content and sleep. Oh, I know what you mean, Griffin. And this is why we try to do it every once in a while. We'll do like an oddball timed membership stream for everybody who's outside of the US mainly. So hopefully we'll be able to give you an update on that by Wednesday morning. I'm thinking sometime between either Thursday or this weekend. We will do that probably at some weird time for our American friends, but perfect time hopefully for those who are on the other side of the globe. Like
We will
Andre.
try. We do realize that people in Australia need their beauty sleep too.
But yeah, so we'll give you guys an update on that as soon as we know more. And then Jesus Davila has been a member for 15 months at the Edgelord level. Thank you so much. Hyperguyver2 says, I can see the headline now. Michael Keaton hospitalized, supporting the entire weight of the Warner Discovery on his back. 6 said that. Or at 6. That was that or was that Hyperguyver's member chat that we were looking for?
I believe it may have been.
I think that's the case. Okay, so
Yeah.
yes, for some reason we lost it in the mix. Thank you for that, Hyperguyver. And then Paulus Plain adds another act. Says, thank you, all Americans. That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. Neil Armstrong, Stars and Stripes on the Moon.
Let's not forget that. That was one heck of an achievement.
Kubrick did a great job.
Too bad we can't do that anymore now.
Yeah, we need Stanley Kubrick now. No, I don't believe that. I think we actually went.
Oh, I don't doubt that for 1 second.
Yeah, the whole Kubrick he shot the moon landing bullshit. Yeah, I'm not one to buy into that conspiracy. But otherwise, Andre, we didn't get to totally hear about what your thoughts were on a lot of the trailers. We got to hear some of it. But what other trailers stuck out to you besides Mario and The Flash, really?
Yeah. Transformers, for how lackluster it was. And beyond that, it was mostly forgettable. And as I said while you were out walking the dog for a moment there, what stood out to me the most is how few trailers we actually got, all in all. I mean, I was expecting one for the Marvels. That didn't come, probably because they didn't want the backlash just yet. So yeah, that stood out to me the most. Their absence.
Well, I mean, actually, this was Hollywood coming back to the Super Bowl because the last couple of years they hadn't had a lot of ads, and Warner Brothers, famously, this is like their 4 or 5 year dearth of ads for the Super Bowl. They finally spent some money on this one, and I guess they got their money's worth with the Flash reaction. At least for
I
most
think
people.
so. I think so. And I have to say that just ignoring what I know about the movie, just looking at the trailer, I don't blame anyone for thinking it looks cool. Like I was like thinking, hey, it is going to be fun.
I've seen a lot of posts that were saying I can't believe I can love and hate a trailer so much at the same time.
Yeah, I think that this movie still is going to be an entertaining movie if you're able to disregard Ezra and his or they's personal life and problem and cult background and grooming and basically just wrecking the state of Hawaii and all of that, then you might be in for a fun movie here. I really think so. And I think that The Flash and Super Mario are going to be the winners of the box office this year, unless we have like a hidden Top Gun Maverick here somewhere.
I think people are underestimating Guardians as well. I mean, that did get outshined a little bit this time by the Flash trailer, but that was still a pretty solid trailer. It made me want to see the movie even more than I already did. It also reminded us who started this whole trend of putting modern songs, modern music in trailers, however you want to put it, when they kicked it off with the Since You've Been Gone and stuff like that, the way it was placed in the trailer. I thought it was excellent. I'm looking forward to the Guardians of the Galaxy. If anything, that's my last hoorah for the MCU right there. Right? Like, I mean, this is the true end game here. And after that, I mean, that's the only movie so far coming up the next few months that I really am pushing to go see in theaters, because otherwise well, maybe Mario Brothers, but I was kind of like, I could care less about Ant-Man. I've been debating that all week. But it sounds like you're going to see it and stuff like that, so I probably don't really
I'll be seeing it on Wednesday morning my time.
Yeah.
So that by the time we do the stream on Wednesday, I will have seen it.
Maybe we can pull Chris in for a few minutes so you guys can bounce off each other. But yeah, like, that's the only reason for me to see it is if I could. But then at that point, you've already seen it, and I mean, I could go see it, but I don't know. I don't really, the amount of money and the time and effort, it's not worth it for me, because I'm not so sure I'm going to like the movie. I didn't like the last one, so.
Yeah, but this isn't a sequel to the last one. I didn't like. I've forgotten the last one. I mean, right now I couldn't tell you what the hell happened in the last one. The only thing I remember was that the would-be Red Sonja was in it. I don't remember in what capacity. And the end credit scene, which was the only thing about that whole matter which had anything to do with the MCU at large. Beyond that, honestly, I for the life of me can't remember a single thing about the previous Ant-Man movie. And I don't think they assume that you do, because this isn't a sequel to Ant-Man, not really. This is the kickoff of the multiverse storyline in the MCU. That's what this really is.
Yeah,
that's how you have to see it, not as an Ant-Man movie, but as a Kang movie.
And that's kind of what those early reactions were saying too. So I see exactly what you're saying, Andre, and I don't disagree with that assessment. And yeah, so basically, in the Fast movies, I've never even finished the first Fast movie, so I have nothing to really add or subtract to that one. We already talked a little bit about the Bumblebee trailer, or Bumblebee. Jesus, see, I just went and did it.
There should have been Bumblebee.
There should have been Bumblebee 2 trailer, right? Yeah. It just didn't sell me on nothing more than I'd seen it. In fact, it made me feel even worse, I would say, because at first the other trailer was like, it might be fun, the Beast Wars and all that business. And then we see this trailer, and I'm like, okay, so we're getting the same story again.
Which remember, if you recall, we did an editorial about, because I saw the reaction of producer Lorenzo Di Bonaventura, because he was always really skeptical on Bumblebee. And when you had like 3 people that told him that, we didn't like the story and the emphasis on story and character in Bumblebee. Like, where's the action and the brain deadness? That's what we liked about it. And he was like, yeah, this movie doesn't have enough action. Let's go back to the Michael Bay style of filmmaking. He took that real seriously. So, yeah. Lorenzo Di Bonaventura, he basically warned us right away that the next movie is not going to be as good as Bumblebee. Bumblebee was a good one and done, and now it's back to the crap again. He warned us of this years ago.
It'd be funny here to go off topic again. If Cocaine Bear ends up knocking Ant-Man off the top spot next week.
That would be hilarious. I don't think there's any risk of that.
In history that a Marvel movie had only had 1 week at the top spot, that'd be hilarious.
Yeah.
But it would make the South Park rant I sent you true, right? Like, for those who hadn't seen, South Park's got a new season out, guys. And the first episode it's a broad episode on what it covers, but it's built off the whole Kanye West freaking out business. But at one point, Stan Marsh goes on a rant against woke entertainment, and it is like we wrote it ourselves. I sent that to you, Andrew. Did you get a chance to check it out?
I didn't. I was driving at the time. So
shit, man. It's amazing.
For the show.
It's amazing. Because, so the joke gets set up that, since Stan is Jewish, Cartman starts a rumor that Stan runs Hollywood. Based on the whole Kanye West rant is what it's making fun of. So of course, So Marsh goes in and he's like griping at Stan's dad, and he's like, look, this woke shit, it's not working. It's like, and he goes on this rant about it all, and the same shit we always say. And he goes, we know that's what killed the Marvel universe and shit like that. He was like, I'm going to say it. Avatar 2 sucked. Okay. Nobody else had the balls to say it. I'm going to say it.
Yeah.
And it boils down to the whole woke business. So I think this is what I was trying to say earlier when you guys were talking about it with Chris about how woke's coming to an end. I think it is. I think it's getting to a point where Hollywood is seeing how stupid they've been. And compounded by a few other things.
Of course, they're just going
to hell no. Or Kyle, not Stan. Jesus, Kyle. I get him mixed up. My bad. I knew what I meant. Flip-flop the kids, but you knew what I meant. Yeah. And what's funny is this episode was one of the few episodes that's been directed by Matt Stone instead of Trey Parker as well, which was also awfully odd, but we figured it out after we watched it. Why? Because it's heavy on the Jewishness, let's say.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's cool. I look forward to checking it out.
Yeah. Have you seen the Streaming Wars? You got to watch that stuff first, though.
Yeah.
That's him. Okay.
Yeah.
Then STR Red Wolf says Warner Brothers Roadrunner left a lasting mark in mass transit. Look up door closing chime for the New Mexico rail runner trains. Meet. Oh, they do? Really? Did not know that. That's good to know. Then Miguel Farah says, if Kubrick had faked the moon landing, all astronauts would have spent decades bitching about his abusive demeanor towards the actors. Yes. That's
probably
true. Rambam 3000 says, paleontologists found that the bones of the giant raptor, like the ones depicted in Jurassic Park in Utah in 92. Well, it's like, it's not the Velociraptor, though. It's a different raptor. I'm trying to remember the name of it. But yeah, like Andre's right, though. The ones that they claim are velociraptors in Jurassic Park are not velociraptors. They're a different kind of raptor. Yeah. I believe they're called Utah raptors. At least that was the name they gave them for a while until they gave
something along those lines.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't remember my paleontology all that well, but yeah.
Yeah, they're calling it the Utah raptor and the Deinonychus or whatever. Yeah. Yep. Okay. So I was right. All right. Paulus Plain says pros and cons. Superman pros, hopeful side. Faster than a speeding bullet, more powerful than a locomotive, able to leap tall buildings in a single bound. Superman cons, woke side, straight white man. I know a lot of people are worried about this, but One thing's James Gunn, despite anything he's said out in public and the way he's acted in any way, shape, or form in public, none of his films have been woke.
Not in the slightest.
And even the new Guardians film doesn't look like it's going to be suffering from any woke business at all.
And Peacemaker even pokes fun of wokeness. That's what it does.
That's what people say.
Yeah.
I have to watch it. I should know, especially considering.
It's really, really cool. But yeah,
I only watched half an episode, and I thought it was all right.
Yeah.
But I was like, I don't know. Something, I just hated his fucking character in the Suicide Squad.
Well, then you are going to love Peacemaker specifically
and I'm not a big John Cena fan to begin with. That's the whole thing too.
I can't. I'm not going to defend John Cena.
No, and I know you can't. So that's the problem. So that's kind of it, though. I mean, even before the China business, like I just never. Look,
I would say this is a case of where you really have to try your best to separate the actor from the character, because ain't no defending John Cena.
I know I'm going to piss off some people by saying this, but I think it needs to be said. All wrestlers are failed actors to begin with. So most wrestlers who become actors, I find hilarious. Because they couldn't make it in the first place as an actor, so they became a wrestler, and they used that as a means to become an actor. None of the wrestler turned actors have ever been a real decent actor. Now, I have enjoyed Roddy Piper, mind you, in like They Live. I even love some of the old cheesy Hulk Hogan films, like Suburban Commando's brilliant.
That was a fun one.
But none of them are actually decent fucking actors. Even The Rock sucks if you think about it. He's not that great of an actor. He has one note. I mean, I'm just being real. Not to take anything away from people who love wrestling or anything like that. Sometimes they're athletes. You're right, Cajun. That's true. But you can tell which ones were failed actors because they're the ones who try to be actors later on in life. Really, usually is the case. But the only few that I could see that like really didn't care were like, yeah, those who were just more or less into the craft itself. And, I mean, it's just, look, Batista is okay. He's getting better. That's true. But how long did it take for him to get there? And they had to cut around him in the first Guardians film. So, but with that being said, I think I made enough enemies now. And that's everything.
Yeah, so with that, we are fully caught up. And yeah, even the Megawing Zero says, I hate John Cena, but Peacemaker was great.
Yeah, I'll give it a shot.
It was. It really, really was. It's the best thing to come out of DC in a very, very long time.
Yeah.
Even James Gunn's wife was really good in it.
Well, at least I got a few shout outs here. That's cool. Like I said, I enjoy some of these actors, like as in their parts. Like even another great one is you could never make The Princess Bride without Andre the Giant, for instance, right? Like certain times there's just, it works great and brilliantly. Or Macho Man in Spider-Man was brilliant too. But he's playing a wrestler in it, of course. But yeah. But yeah, no, and again, it's not a rule. Not all of them suck, but like I'm pressed to think of one who's actually real decent. But yeah. Anyway, with that, thank you so much, kids. We should have a Toxic Femininity later. Outside of that, Andre, do we have anything coming up that's planned in the near future?
We may have more videos dropping, maybe tomorrow, more likely on Wednesday.
Sounds good. And then we got one more super chat here. Coronasaur says the raptors in Jurassic Park were dug up in the U.S., which would be the Utah raptor or Deinonychus. That's what we thought. Yep. Velociraptor itself was discovered in Mongolia. Yep, that is correct. And those are the smaller ones that we were talking about, which I believe get to only be around 4 to 6 feet in length at best, as opposed to the 8 or so roughly feet that the ones in Jurassic Park were.
Yeah, they were basically the small tyrannosaurs.
I mean, they had the same kind of features. Like, I mean, they all had almost all that's what, you know, differentiates them, is they have the longer arms and the claws on their feet, right? Yeah. So that's what, you know, separates them from other ones.
Pretty much like the Tyrannosaurus. They gave up the arm length for a bigger head and stronger bite.
Yeah, and bigger gait on the walk, obviously. Yeah. And then Miguel Farah says, pointless super chat to keep the tradition going. Why are you doing this? Now you confused me even more. But Nunchuckosaurus will happen someday. That's where, you know, their arms come into good use, because they're useless until then.
Exactly.
And with that, I think it is time for
some koalas in the rain.
Koalas in the rain. Koalas in the rain. No fucks given. Koala. Koalas in the rain. Koalas in the rain. No
Aspiria sends us in a koala. And then Mecha J points out he can't wait to see the Mario movie. Yes, they clearly had a big win.